Ooh, you ruined again. Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey. How's everybody? What's going on out there, Rumble Land? You guys, we were number 6 on the leaderboard yesterday. I'm telling you, there's some enthusiasm out there. There's a disturbance in the force. Come on, right? We're growing like bit by bit.
A weed can't get rid of us.
Okay, so who's watching the State of the Union tonight? 1 is yes, 2 is no, 3 is I don't care. I don't think we're going to get a lot of 3s.
Wait,
1
what about
is
like
yes,
4? I'm going to try.
2 is no. No, like if your intention is to watch it.
Oh, then I'm a 1.
Well,
Hold
whether
on.
it's the whole thing or it's a 1-1-1, okay? Most ones. 4. Seriously, JD? Really? 1. Okay. Did you guys see who the Democrats are coming or are bringing? We have to talk about this in the monologue. It's just not complicated. Look at you guys go. 1-1-1. Little chickie is all over it. 1-1-1. You're psycho on that. I like it. Oh, Big Jim's bowling, but after bowling. I appreciate your ideas there. 1-1-1-1-1-1-1. Oh, it's wonderful. Hello. Wow, that's a little Schismo. What's for lunch? Another delicious serving of hot common sense.
And a bacon and cheddar pretzel sandwich.
It sounds like you need to be like vaccinated after you have that, though, right? Oh, it's great to be with you guys. All right, so let me tell you about the wellness company. The wellness company makes a lot of things, and they really sprung to be during COVID when you and I were looking to get ivermectin and the FDA and the FBI or whatever were trying to intercept our shipments from other countries. And you're like, something weird's going on here, right? Then the wellness company came forward and they're like, we're going to give you actual medicine that doesn't involve this pharma garbage that COVID exposed. And they were very clear very early, Dr. McCullough was, about the spike protein that's in that jab. And the problem is long-lasting side effects inside of their body, despite people maybe feeling fine. In a new peer-reviewed study, researchers tested the blood of 34 women and men, all who received the Pfizer mRNA vaccine. Every single one of them tested positive for micro blood clots circulating in their system. These are stubborn, hard to break down clots that have been linked to lingering systems in both the unvaccinated and the vaccinated. So the obvious question is, how do we detox the body? Well, nattokinase is a natural enzyme. It's been shown to dissolve up to 84% of these micro blood clots within 2 hours in vitro. So even at lower amounts, it still reduced the number of clots, the intensity of the clot signal, and the overall clot size. And what makes this even more important is that nattokinase has been shown to break down the spike protein itself in vitro, which means it's positively attacking the damage and the culprit simultaneously. So you can get this product from the wellness company, twc.health/Wendy. Use my name, get 10% off. You're going to get free shipping with that Wendy promo code, and you're going to get this ultimate spike detox. That's what it does. It breaks this down so you don't have those micro blood clots. Kind of important. twc.health/Wendy.
And let me just make this announcement. We are not sponsored by Pfizer.
Oh.
Yes. We are not brought to you by
Pfizer.
We are not brought to you by Pfizer.
No. How's everybody out there? What's going on? We've got Ghost Bed coming back next week to give you a really good discount. It's either next week or the week after.
I'm gonna keep saying this until they do it.
Oh my goodness, gravy.
My brother needs to get a ghost bed. This is where I had to sleep the last time I was there.
No, sir.
Yeah. Where else was I going to sleep on that? Not even lumpy. It's not even lumpy. They need a ghost bed. That's just all they need. Send them the damn ghost bed.
I will tell you, the ghost bed is a phenomenal bed. And I'm not going to talk to you about it because they're not sponsoring me this week.
Well,
but they were. If they were smart, they would. Because I would tell you how freaking fantastic it is. And my promo code gets you a fantastic discount. But I'm not going to tell you that because they can buzz off.
I mean, part of me feels bad that they
and Cozy Earth, like literally, if I could just wrap myself in those two products and never leave my room, I'd be like, okay.
Every time I stay with my brother and sister-in-law, their Yelp review is horrible.
Oh my God.
And it's all because of the mattress. And sometimes they run out of good beer, but
38 seconds. A slow on the draw. Look, we need to figure out what's going on. We need to reconnect with Twitter. Do I need to do something right now?
If you could go to your Twitter page.
Up on there?
No, on your phone.
Okay.
And just retweet it, essentially.
How?
You have to press your profile picture or it'll be red.
Okay.
And see if you can retweet it. This is going to be.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but no.
I'll come in for a first break. See if I can do it.
Retweeting.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hello, America, and greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to Common Sense Conservative Values. 3 hours a day here on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I'm so excited to be with you. So I'm Wendy, and if you've never heard my voice before, or if you're watching on our app, wendybellradio.com, or on Rumble, you get the whole live 3-hour video stream. If you're not familiar with what we do, it is very basic. It is, we do what's right. We tell the truth. We give you our data so you can check us, and then we don't lie. And if that's reasonable, you're going to love what we have to talk about today. We're going to talk about the left losing their minds over USA hockey. And it's not that the miracle on ice 46 years later was captured, was not even duplicated. There was a new miracle. It was fantastic. Not that, right? Not that, but of course what Kash Patel did in the locker room, and that President Trump has invited the team to the State of the Union tonight. We're going to talk about all of it so you can decide what you think. Hey, if you're new, stay for a while. I think you'll like us. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, we're going to get to all of the headlines, and there's not a whole lot of headlines. I'm just going to tell you, there's something going on in the force. There is a disturbance because there is no oxygen in the atmosphere. The water from that earthquake out at sea, proverbially, that I talk about, that sucks all of the water from the sea off of the shore before the tsunami hits, it's still getting sucked out to sea. It's like there's no big story going on because it almost feels like something's about to crash on all of us. We're going to talk about that. But I want to tell you about a really sexy thing that's going on in my house. I'll tell you. We're cleaning out the refrigerator and the freezer. I know. And I started with the pantry the other day. Actually, it was a couple weeks ago. And then my husband, Joe, had a day off yesterday. And he started getting the bugs. So we went through the freezer. We have multiple freezers, 5 sons. You can imagine you get a lot of beef, a lot of stuff. And he finally said, like, let's get rid of a lot of this stuff. We found frozen fish from 2017. Okay, so it's a little old. And I was like, wow, look at that. It's supposed to be used by now. Let's get rid of it, right? We went through the pantry, went through the refrigerator, wiped things down. You feel so much better when you do that. And then you open it up and you're like, wow, We had a lot of stuff that nobody ever was interested in. We had a lot of stuff that we shouldn't have spent our money on. A lot of things that you spitball. You're like, well, maybe the kids will like this. And then you don't want to admit the fact that you wasted your money, so you let it sit there for 7 years. And you're like, no, seriously, somebody soon is going to take this out. And they're going to eat these little Totino's pizza rolls or whatever. No, they're not. And so all of this stuff got chucked. 2 giant construction bags full of freezer burn nonsense. I had ham hocks that look like ice cubes from probably, I don't know, 2014. Because, I'm going to make pea soup one of these days. Chuck that, right? 2 huge construction bags. This is what America needs to do. This is where we are. We're sitting in the kitchen together, in the kitchen of America, and we're looking at all of the ingredients. We got all these people to feed. We got a bunch of stuff we've got to use. Some of this stuff is out of date. Some of the stuff, I don't even know what it is. And we got to start making some decisions, right? This is your Congress. We got to start identifying those who are well past their expiration date. The people like Chuck Schumer, who thinks his idea of bringing to the State of the Union tonight somebody to represent like the Democrat rebuttal of this president's State of our Union, which will no doubt come across as being strong. Chuck Schumer is bringing, I guess, a couple victims of ICE who got swept up in the ICE raids or what have you, who were wrongfully detained or what have you, or separated from their children or whatever. And then other people are bringing Epstein survivors with them to the State of the Union. And then you've got President Trump, who invites the winning gold medal winning USA men's and women's hockey team, right? Which side speaks to you? The people who proverbially bitch about everything, who lie to you every single day because it's all they know? Or that other side where you're like, that guy who's not like all these other people, that guy who's made billions of dollars, who's raised a responsible, respectable family, that guy who understands what the name USA means. Like, I got a message for Democrats. If you want to change your ship right now, if you want to save yourselves from being taken out in the construction bags of America's garbage, knock it off, okay? Knock it off. We're in it for America. I'm not in it just for the Republicans. I'm in it for you. I'm in it for us, we, the people. This president is doing everything he can for that. And all you say is he's an egoist. He's a bully. He's a king. All he cares about is himself. It's so obnoxiously stupid and wrong. You are expired. And it's time to be thrown out. Like, I don't want the same old flavors anymore, you guys. I don't want the same old recipes, the same old junk that's been in your pantry for the last 20 years that gets shoved to the back when you add more stuff to the front. No, America needs to do some serious freaking house cleaning. I'm tired of all of the nonsense, the bemoaning of the Olympics. They couldn't even let the Olympics, the ending of what was an Olympics, right? The Olympics. We come home absolutely bedazzled with gold medals for those 2 hockey teams, right? And the left can only sit there and bitch. Stop it. We are so tired of you. We sat there for 4 years and watched you drive our country into the freaking ground, driving in all those same old tired, expired ingredients into that cauldron of suck and slop that you serve up every day to us. And then you charged us for premium ingredients that we never got. Are you kidding me? And you sit there to bitch about the state of the union, a president who's gotten $5 trillion of economic pledges from just one segment of the planet, like 17 to 20 trillion. If you look at all of the investment that's being pledged, you've got a president who's bringing down prescription drug prices so that you can afford them. We got a president who says to the Maha King, Bobby Kennedy, hey, can we get America healthy again? Can we shut the border and stop all the drugs? Can we get people living, reaching towards the American dream? Did you know mortgage rates are down? What is it, under 6%? How long has that been? And Democrats want to sit there with their arms crossed and act like snots because they know they are well past their expiration date. Look, if you're part of the Democrat Party and you think you want to sit out, you're not on my team. And my team isn't the Republican team. My team isn't red. My team isn't conservative. My team is red, white, and blue. There's a reason there's an American flag behind me every day that I do this show. If you're not for America, get out. Go somewhere else. Go bitch about what you don't have in another country. How dare you? How dare you try to steal the oxygen out of victory? How dare you try to ruin the joy of a celebration of watching your flag get hoisted at the top of the scale while you hear your national anthem? How dare you? And how dare all the liberal chicks out there, the scourge of American society, bemoaning that the men's hockey team is going to go to the State of the Union tonight. And that Jack Hughes, the guy who won the game-winning goal right in overtime, would say, we're super excited to meet this president. He's your president. He is the master chef. And look, if you've got no new recipes that you want to bring to the table, if you've got no new herbs you're growing somewhere, no new ideas, no new way to plate the dish, no way to nourish the American people, kindly exit the kitchen and move along, because we're ready for the taste of victory. I'm ready for what the president is going to deliver tonight, which is the State of the Union is strong as Republicans cheer and Democrats sit on their hands looking like the expired ingredients that they are. Time for a little cleaning, don't you guys think? Pay attention tonight. Watch it all. It's on full display when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. So who is funding the Democrats' counter programming to the State of the Union? The King of Darkness. No, not Anthony Fauci. No, not Bill Gates. George Soros. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Did you hear all the white women out there? I'm just going to say it. It's white women. I don't know black women who are like, I hate hockey. I'm so upset that they won. It's the white chicks, right? The white college ones who are like, I don't really think it's a good idea for them to go to the State of the Union. It's a political event. No, it's an American event. It's America and Stars and Stripes and Star Spangled Banner. It's on the marquee. It's like, wah, 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 American pride. You either have it or you don't. And if you don't, how about that? Does that work for anybody? That worked for me.
Wow.
It's almost like I had something to say there. Okay, bodybyAim360.com. BodybyAim360.com. Have you ever wanted to know what's going on inside of your body? Why is nothing working? Why are you not losing weight? Why are you not sleeping? Why are you dragging around? Why does your gut feel like it's twisted in knots? Why do you feel like you're allergic to things today that you weren't before? This is your opportunity to get answers, and on the most ridiculous price ever. $99 for this extensive blood workup on you that tells the story of what's going on inside of your body. And once you have it, and Dr. Dubiak puts it in your hot little hands, you're like, oh, it's yours forever. It's your roadmap. It's your key to losing weight, feeling great, getting rid of your allergies, getting off of your medicine, making no more excuses and taking charge. That's bodybyAIM360.com. Look, they also have very exciting things right now. You know, you've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, all these GLP-1s. They have them in injectable form, yes, but they also have them in oral form. So if you're not a big needles person, you're like, I don't know about the needles. You can take these weight loss medications, absolutely destroy your appetite, which is great for a lot of people. You can take these medicines orally and they will help you. It is the 360 of bodybyAIM360.com that I love so much, because it's not just about losing weight. It's about changing how you feel so that whatever you're doing, right, you're doing it to your best. 412-227-9255, $99 blood work through the end of this week. Whew. Right? 412-227-9255, bodybyAIM360.com. Doesn't matter where you live. But
pay attention to Democrats today. For some reason, the new thing is I'd rather stick something in my eye. If it's needles, a fork. I've seen it 3 times from Democrat lawmakers now. That's the line. I'd rather stick something in my eye than watch the State of the Union.
I want to know what the State of the Union is. I want to know.
Well, if you're a Democrat, you don't want to know because.
Well, wouldn't you want to know as a Democrat too? The union. Going to go to the State of the Union. They're going to boycott it. Okay, well, they boycotted the president's first inauguration. Remember that? Like none of them went. So this is par for the course. It is it's as juvenile as all of the women wearing white. Remember that? They all wore white. It's as juvenile as Nancy Pelosi chewing whatever the hell is in her mouth, right? Ripping up the State of the Union behind the president. You are dealing with grown-up children. That's exactly what this is. With crybaby, weakling, embarrassing, immature individuals. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. I would want to hear the State of the Union, regardless of the president. I want to know what's going on. That is a proclamation of the growth of the health of the country. Don't you want to know? Because you're paying for it, right? So this counter programming is being paid for by George Soros. I mean, like, you can't make it up. Our friends at newsbusters.org wrote a little blurb about this, and it says, we're not sure what the actual flex is for Courier Newsroom, a literal fake news organization heavily financed by the George Soros empire, to be co-hosting a supposed rebuttal to President Trump's upcoming State of the Union address tonight, aimed at bringing together elected officials, cultural figures, journalists, veterans, and organizers for a live counter address focused on defying Donald Trump's abuses of power. Like what? Like what? Like tariffs? You guys are all upset that the billions of dollars that have come in from the tariffs because we've been taken advantage of for so many years. You're upset about that? What abuse of power? His executive orders to round up all of the illegal aliens that shouldn't be here, right? Because that's his job. Is that the abuse of power? Is it abusive to bring down the cost of living, to, bring down the cost to buy a new home? What is the abuse of power? Well, last week, the radical leftist anti-Trump group Defiance.org. Literally think about who these people are. Their objective is not to go out and do any good for you. It is to not go out and fix a problem or think outside the box or innovate or create or what have you. It is to resist. It is to be, it's to be a flat tire. It's to be the landmine. It's to be the crap in the fan that sprays all over the place, right? This is who the left is. And they're getting funded by George Soros. And the funding is going into this like fake newsroom, Courier newsroom, to present some kind of an evening tonight that's not the State of the Union. I don't know about you guys, but whether or not you like President Trump, who wouldn't want to watch and see what happened with USA men's hockey? These guys who are so jazzed to be going to meet the President of the United States. It's as raw as that. Now, have you heard all about this conundrum the left is having? Not even. They're so off the rails. Kash Patel, director of the FBI, avid hockey player himself, still plays, right? Knows a lot of the guys on the Team USA, hockey team. He gets invited back as he's there at the Olympics. And by the way, a lot of government officials go to Olympics. And he goes back in the locker room, drinks a beer, celebrates. He does what people who win do. They take their bread and they soak up the gravy. And he screamed and he hooted and he howled and he exuded love of America. Well, to the left, that's just reprehensible. I want you to hear this. Jake Tapper has Andy McCabe on, right? The former deputy director of the FBI, who now all of a sudden is, he's got some CNN political prowess now. And he's like Kash celebrating in the locker room. Have you ever seen anything so ridiculous in your life? Listen to this.
Do you think Director Patel partying with Team USA in Italy was appropriate? And what do you make of the FBI's explanation for why he was in Italy? You've certainly taken meetings around the world.
Yeah, I mean, the video is ridiculous and it was completely inappropriate for him to be engaging, to go at all. Let's be honest. The excuse that he had to go for security meetings the day before the games are over is patently ridiculous. Director Mueller once traveled to Greece to consult with partners on the security arrangements for the Greek Olympics 8 months before the games began. That's when the sort of details and arrangements are made that an FBI director needs to weigh in on to make sure that others understand the role of the Bureau and those sorts of things. It's not the day of the final hockey game. And of course, now we know exactly what he was doing there. Horrible, horrible message to the FBI rank and file. It's absolutely, I'm sure that this video is coursing through that population today. And a horrible message to the country when the FBI is in the middle of such incredibly important investigations, everything from the notorious kidnapping, now on its 4th week, of Nancy Guthrie, all the way to we may be on the brink of war with Iran. Now, I can tell you from having been in that position before, when you are on the brink of hostilities with a country that is a sponsor of terrorism, the FBI is right now using a microscope, or they should be, to go through all of their records to find Iranian sleeper agents in the United States.
And you wasted 2, 3, 4 years of our lives with Russia collusion, you hack. Sit down, you little pipsqueak. See, here's the thing about liberal chicks. They've taken the liberal men, if they ever had any testosterone, and they've squeezed it out of their bodies. They've emasculated them into these namby-pamby, wishy-washy, effeminate little weasels who are so upset about everything. I'm sure these images of Kash Patel celebrating with Team USA are offensive to everyone. Oh, boy. Well, that's the story, ladies and gentlemen. And you're going to hear a couple people lose their ever-loving minds over this as a couple of very conservative, sage, manly men break it all down for us. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Having never been a true, I've been on teams, but I can't say I understand what it's like to be a competitor, to be a true winner, to be like a true athlete who grinds it out. And I've not had that. I mean, I played, but I was freaking terrible.
Right field.
I was out
only because left out was taken.
I was out in the wilderness, right? So I love watching this. I love being a voyeur to see the joy. And for 24 stinking hours, are you allowed to celebrate? No, not if you're on the left. No, they will ruin anything right? And I love how Andy McCabe's, we're at the brink of war with Iran. I'm like, where were you, you pencil neck, when we bombed their nuclear, whatever storage facility out of the water? Where were you? You were bitching about that, saying, well, you shouldn't have done that. That was very aggressive. I don't know about that. Shut up, Andy. You sucked before, you suck now. Sorry.
Being on teams and competing in sports my entire life.
Yeah.
When you win, you celebrate like that. When your friends win,
you celebrate like
you
that.
celebrate like that. You celebrate like you were
Yes.
part of it, because you're matching the intensity of them, and because you know what they've been through to get to that point.
100%.
And you are 100% happy for them.
And by the
Wonder
way,
about people who aren't happy for your success.
they're liberals. I'm sorry. They ruin everything. They would ruin everything if every man, woman, and child in this country got a $10,000 tax refund from president. They would bitch that it wasn't enough, right? Again, seriously, if President Trump cured cancer, it wouldn't be fast enough. It wouldn't be enough this or that. It would all
What
be
took so long?
Exactly. So you have to love, and they scream, and they're so angry, and you're like, come on. If I'm a Democrat, and what are you going to do? Are you going to sit on your hands for Team USA hockey? Because there's going to be that moment where the president calls them out in the gallery, and he's like, ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest performances of a team in Olympic history. There they are. And if they're like that, sitting there like they did for Jocelyn Nungaray and for the young man with brain cancer.
Can I make another analogy that you'll be able to totally get, because I believe you covered it? When the Penguins won the Stanley Cup, there's 25 guys on the team? And they had a parade. There were 50,000 people there.
It was more than that.
All drunk.
Yes.
Hanging from parking lots, drinking beers.
Mm-hmm. Going nutty.
Yeah. They didn't even step on the ice.
I didn't have a voice for 48 hours.
Yeah. Oh, good for Joe.
I want to tell you guys about Sniper, disinfectwithsniper.com. I got a great email yesterday from a gentleman during the show. And he's like, Wendy, I want you to know that I spray my hands with Sniper every time I get back into my truck, whatever he does for a living, delivering or whatever he's doing, seeing people, clients, et cetera, et cetera. He says, I have not been sick since using Sniper. I'm telling you what, I cannot confirm or deny the scientific data that you share with me, but I'm going to tell you, as the hospital disinfectant that is safe enough for you that you could spray it on your face or in your mouth. Figure that out. I don't know. How do you make a product that is so dangerous for or so deadly to bacteria, and yet it's safe for you and your children and your pets? I don't know, but they've done it. This is it. All, bacteria, fungal infections, MRSA, COVID, SARS, you name it, it kills it. And you don't have to scrub. If you have children who play sports and they have equipment and the equipment smells like death, spritz it with this, give it a good, it kills all of the germs, all of the bacteria. It's not going to damage the product. You don't have to wipe it off. It's the most legendary product. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Disinfectwithsniper.com, free shipping.
Free.
Free.
I might drink a beer and smash a beer can on my head during the State of the Union tonight.
I'm just so happy for them.
Sure.
I'm just so happy for them.
How many people get that opportunity?
I mean, what a joy. And
their families who spent thousands of dollars to put their kids through hockey camps and travel. If you can't be happy for people who win, there's seriously something wrong with you. Yeah, look at the people who go to Steeler games. I knew a guy, my cousin's husband, his brother, if you can follow that. If the Steelers lost, he had to take the next day off of work. Wouldn't talk to his kids during the game. People celebrate in different ways. That's a little absurd, but
you do you.
He didn't put on the pads.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But it's almost like they've never competed.
They've never won anything.
You know, it's not.
This is what happens with participation trophies. They never got to celebrate their participation trophy.
Right? In Milan, where Team USA got their golds and stood there to the anthem, you saw like kind of the dog pile picture on the ice. And did you see the one where the players went and grabbed Johnny Gaudreau's 2 of 3 very small children? Johnny Gaudreau played for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He played for Boston College. He and his brother Matthew did. And in 2024, they were killed while they were in New Jersey riding bikes by an alleged drunk driver. Both brothers killed. They were there for their sister's wedding. I want you to think about that for a moment. Just close your eyes and think about all of the members of that family gathered in New Jersey for their sister's wedding. Johnny and Matt going out for a cycle, riding their bike, killed by a drunk driver. Both of their wives were pregnant. Johnny Gaudreau's wife did not know at the time that she was 6 weeks pregnant with their son. There are so many stories. As the camera cut away to the Gaudreau's parents, who see in their new grandchildren what they remember from their sons. I mean, there's so much there, but so much baked into this. There's so much heartbreak. That victory and them taking the 2 little kids out onto the ice and his jersey and the flags, you know? Sometimes you just need a moment to breathe. And however you celebrate, or however that gold medal, whatever it meant to you, even if it meant nothing, it meant something to a lot of people. And for anybody to armchair quarterback is so unfortunate. It's such a bad look. And I have to ask the Democrat Party, do you not have a mirror? Do you not have a friend? Is there nobody counseling you? Do you not have a service that's like, you know what? This is a bad look. This isn't resonating with the American people. Now is not the time for this. You need to hit the brakes. Give the story some oxygen. Step back. They have none of that. There is no barometer on the left to gauge what is a good time, what is a good message. It is sheer resistance. It is pushback. It is roadblocks. It is slow walking. It is stonewalling. It is creating alternate narratives. It is pushing lies. It is all of this stuff. And on the other side, I'm just like, hey, I just want to sit here and have tears roll down my cheeks because I feel a million different things for these people I've never met. But as an American, I'm so proud for the men and the women. See, you don't get that on the left, and I simply don't understand how they don't understand how off-putting that is. And so the new battle cry is F Trump. That's the new campaign slogan, right? It's not read my lips, no new taxes. It's F Trump. F Trump. F Trump. What happened to you people? What happened to you? I don't know. Team USA's Jack Hughes, super excited to meet Trump in patriotic White House visit. That's what he said. He says, we are so proud to represent the U.S. And when you get the chance to go to the White House and meet the president, we are proud to be Americans. And that is so patriotic, said Jack Hughes, who scored the match winner in Sunday's 2-1 victory. Now they're getting some pushback. You shouldn't be going to meet with the president. It's President Trump. Democrats just don't have the ability to know time, place, or message. And they fail yet again. I want you to hear some of this sound. It's really quite remarkable. The left has become so emasculated, quite literally, liberal men don't know what happened to their testosterone. The ridiculous crybaby meltdown over Kash Patel, FBI director, celebrating in the locker room with Team USA, please. Here is Jesse Waters. He had a great opening monologue, or great monologue on the story yesterday. Oh, the irony of liberals losing their minds over Kash enjoying this moment in history.
The whole country's falling in love with this kid, Jack, and his missing teeth. Everyone's texts are blowing up. People who slept in cannot believe they missed it. But this morning, we wake up to this.
Kash Patel does not love America. He loves Donald Trump. And he's trying to take every political advantage of his position that he can. That's what was going on in that locker room.
Perfectly normal to celebrate a big win like that by chugging beer and spraying champagne or whatever. But typically, you don't see the FBI director doing something like that.
I don't even know what Kash Patel was doing there. I mean, he was chugging beer. Honey, you're not playing. You're not, and he's behaving like he's like a member of Animal House on that show.
Can you believe these people? Since when did America become a bunch of nags? Our boys worked their butts off for 4 years to win gold, and Democrats aren't even talking about the game. They're talking about who they chugged beers with. These people are no fun. Kash had to put out a statement because he had a drink with American medal winners. Quote, for the very concerned media, yes, I love America and was extremely humbled when my friends, the newly minted gold medal winners on Team USA, invited me into the locker room to celebrate this historic moment with the boys. Greatest country on earth and greatest sport on earth. Since when do Democrats care who goes into a locker room? I mean, you can cross-dress, you can be trans, you can't be the FBI director?
Wendy Bell.
Oh my goodness.
Breaking news.
You guys, it is absolutely true. Breaking news right now. The U.S. men's hockey team is wheels up toward D.C. for President Trump's State of the Union tonight. President Trump sent them one of the presidential Air Force One planes to fly them to D.C. in style. Oh my gosh, what an absolute honor and delight for these people, our Team USA hockey boys, to be given this absolute royal presidential Air Force One treatment. I absolutely love it. And by the way, for whatever reason that the women didn't want to go, the USA women, they're like, yeah, we had some other plans. We've got to really study. We're behind with our stuff. Whatever, that's cool. Like, okay, you've got your reasons. I'm not going to sit here and criticize you. I think it's a bad look, but you do you. The men's hockey team is going to go and enjoy the moment. All right, so we've got Jesse Waters calling the spade a spade. How ironic that the left is curious or is upset about people in the locker room when they're like all about transgender guys being in women's locker rooms. Kind of curious. I want you to hear this leftist losing his mind, proving that Democrats are angry, spiteful, and jealous. Listen.
Watching Kash Patel party with the U.S. men's hockey team in the locker room after they won the gold is one of the most pathetic things I have ever seen. What is so pathetic about Patel and what is so indicative of the entire Trump administration is trying to ride on other people's coattails, trying to have an experience which you didn't generate but want to have as your own. It's not just that he's in the locker room with them as the head of the FBI. It's not just that he used taxpayer money to act as a hype man at a sports event when he's not an ambassador or a secretary of state, but he's supposed to be running the Federal Bureau of Investigation, doing serious things.
Oh my gosh, this is Keith Olbermann light. He's on his way. He's got like his eyeballs are about to bulge out of his face. He's screaming at you. Oh my gosh. Meanwhile, Cash is drinking beer, jumping around, and enjoying a moment that so few people ever in their lives will ever experience. You go, Cash. Here back to Jesse Waters. He's like, you know, it's funny because I remember when Barry and Big Mike went into the locker room at the Olympics. Let's check it out.
The Obamas went into the locker room during the Olympics. No one had a problem. If this is about wasting money, since when did Democrats care about that? The Somalis stole $9 billion. They didn't even notice. Every president sends a delegation to the Olympics. Obama sent his Homeland Security Secretary to the Winter Olympics twice. Janet Napolitano was there because the Olympics is the world's biggest security event. There's been terror attacks at the games. Every country sends their top security officials there, and there's tons of meetings. Heck, Obama sent Susan Rice to the Olympics. He sent Biden to the Olympics. And you know who Biden sent to the Olympics? Jill. Excuse me, Dr. Jill. Anyway, they should be thanking Cash. We have the crime rate down to a 125-year low. The country hasn't been this peaceful since 1900.
Very calm Jesse Waters dismantling the leftists out there while leftist is still losing his mind.
It's not just that the main news story on those networks trying to cover up Epstein is Nancy Guthrie, and that investigation is ongoing and needs a leader. And if you've ever watched The Fugitive, you know it matters to have a leader who's actually helped guiding. It's not the fact that the very day that he's there in Italy so he can drink with a bunch of kids, that the cartels in Mexico are almost going to all-out war with the Mexican government. The same cartels which are sending the fentanyl into the United States. In other words, it's a pretty big deal when the cartels are activated through their entire system into a sort of warfare, either to protect American assets or to move where they may be vulnerable. He should be in the room doing his job, but he's not. He is over there trying to welch off somebody else's hard work. He's hanging out with a bunch of 20-year-olds, if that, who are incredible athletes, incredibly dedicated, who did an incredible thing by winning a gold medal. He's not just there to congratulate them or as a proxy for the United States government. He's there because he wants to be one of them. He is acting like he won something.
We did! You moron! It was an American night. What happened to you, Carl Higbee, with the greatest minute and 38 seconds today?
You know who did celebrate America? Our FBI Director, Kash Patel. Yeah, that's what testosterone looks like. I know that's not familiar with most liberals. And they're like, why is the FBI director chugging a beer? Because he's a hockey fan, he loves America, and he was in the moment with testosterone. Sorry, not sorry. I wish he would probably arrest someone like Rumler for sharing insensitive information about Epstein. But I'm super okay with the guy going over there and celebrating with our hockey. At least this FBI director is proud that he's American rather than someone who hated it like the last few directors who funneled a fake dossier in to spy on the president. Just saying. But if you have a problem with Kash Patel pounding a beer while wearing one of the hockey players' gold medals, and you didn't have a problem with a dude wearing fake boobs and shirtless at the White House with gay pride flags everywhere, people hanging off airplanes leaving Afghanistan while 13 Marines were killed, gay sex in the Senate briefing room, our nuclear waste disposal program being run by a cross-dressing luggage bandit, illegally raiding the former president's house, did any of those same people complain about those things? Did they have a problem when the FBI spied on Trump while he was president? No. If you don't have a problem with those things, and you did have a problem with Kash, then you're the problem. But when Kash gets back, Pam, Bondi, if you could just hand him over some indictments to go arrest some people, that would be great. But again, on the record, to be clear, I'm totally fine with him going over there and chugging beers with the American winning hockey team.
And Carl Higbie gets the gold today, ladies and gentlemen. So there was a very special ceremony at the White House yesterday, and your left-wing media didn't even dare to show up. And that's insulting. And you'll find out why in just a few moments. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Oh my gosh. He's freaking brilliant. I love it.
As much as Cash celebrated with the hockey team, you can inject a little bit of Carl Higbie into my veins. I'd like to go drinking and shooting and chugging beer with Carl Higbie.
He is fun. But you know what? It's interesting. If you look at the way the two camps, if you will, right, left and right, how we communicate. Like the leftist guy is losing his mind. He's a mix between Gavin Newsom and Keith Olbermann, and he's screaming. And then you have Jesse Waters and Carl Higbie who are sitting back, and they're giggling about it, right? We're giggling at how ridiculous you are. I mean, I don't have to call you names. You already look dumb. It's such a bad look. It's such a bad look, and it's very enjoyable to watch, I've got to say. All right, so who do we want to talk about? I want to tell you guys about Rumble Wallet. Rumble Wallet, this is something that Rumble wants me to share with you in the event that you guys could benefit from this service, okay? And you might, I don't know. You may have seen the conversations happening online lately. Censorship, it never went away. It's back and it's happening everywhere. Platforms are controlling narratives and they're pushing the stuff that they want us to see. And that's happening even on X, I can say that. So we need to fight back. Rumble is the only company that has stood the test of time and deserves our support. I do agree with that. On one side, Rumble is challenging big tech censorship, but now on the other side, they've introduced something that will give us protection from the big banks, shutting us off. And, banks can cancel our accounts. They can freeze our cards. They did it. JP Morgan Chase, right? They did it to President Trump, debanked him. But they have something called Rumble Wallet now. And with Rumble Wallet, you get to control your money. Not a bank, not a government, not a tech company, not even Rumble can touch it. It is yours and only yours to protect your future and your family. You can buy and save digital assets like Bitcoin and Tether Gold in one place. Tether Gold is real gold on the blockchain with ownership of physical gold bars. All right. It's not only a wallet to buy and save, but it also allows you to support your favorite creators by easily tipping them if you so choose with the click of a button. There will be no fees when you tip my channel or any others. They actually get the tip instantly. So I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying it's what they do. So support my show, other shows. Try out Rumble's wallet, wallet.rumble.com. You can download it today, open an account, step away from the big banks for good. Wallet.rumble.com. I know some people have tried it. They've liked it. Something to investigate if that's your wheelhouse. If not, I get it. Oh, man, I wish I knew who that clodhopper was who was so upset. I'm like, okay. And then you have Jack Hughes, who's just like, I'm not interested in what your politics are.
I love that he's not bending.
I'm interested in never forgetting this moment. Never forgetting this moment. President Trump sending them a plane just wrapped them in a bubble of security, right? He's like, we'll make sure you get here safely and get home safely.
And he knows that is the ultimate troll. When you have FU money like Trump does, he'll pay for that plane to. That's the troll of it. That's beautiful.
And yeah, if anybody wants to bitch about that, he can be like,
I paid for it.
Did he? I don't know if he did.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. And again, this is cherry picking the narrative, cherry picking the news, and providing to you propaganda they want you to believe, and not the real story. And the real story is real criminal illegal aliens have really killed real American citizens, and their survivors are angel families. And the president invited them to the White House yesterday for a celebration of life, if you will, but also a vow to never forget. White House torches CNN and MS Now for not broadcasting Trump's Angel Family Day ceremony. So White House Communications Director Stephen Chong and White House Deputy Communications Director blah, 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 blasted the networks for refusing to air the ceremony honoring families who have lost loved ones at the hands of illegal aliens. Sickening and horrific that CNN and MS Now are outright refusing to broadcast this powerful and moving event. It's like they don't even care about victims and their families. Well, among the people who attended yesterday's Angel Day ceremony was a woman named Allison Phillips. You don't know her name, but she was Laken Riley's mom. And President Trump asked her to say a few words. And this is what you get off the cuff from the heart, from somebody who's looked into the eyes of a president who cares. And she said this. She said, "My daughter was just a good girl who always made the right decisions. She was that kind of a kid. She did not deserve this."
Laken was the most responsible, hardworking, kind, selfless, beautiful Christian. And she wasn't somebody that put herself in bad positions. She didn't make bad choices. She was just a good girl. And she just wanted to go for a run that morning after she'd gotten up at 4 o'clock the morning before to decorate her roommate's door for her birthday. And she did everything for everyone else. She expected nothing in return. She just wanted to be a good friend and a good sister and a good daughter and a hardworking nurse. She was working so hard for. And I'm beyond blessed and thankful that you're honoring not just Laken, because she's one in a ton of people that have suffered at the hands of illegal immigrants. She's not the only one. And so thank you for honoring all of them, not just Laken. And we're just beyond grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you.
And, you know, I cut those and I put them in reverse order because I wanted you to hear what she said to the president. You're doing something that is thankless, but we see you and we thank you.
I just can't thank you enough. You have said from the beginning, literally the day after this happened, that you would not forget about Laken. You weren't president at that time, and you have not forgotten. You have fought a fight that most people would not want to have to fight. Most people wouldn't. They would just say it's just easier not to do this. And President Trump you are doing a thankless job that most people just wouldn't do. And I just can't thank you enough. There are just not enough words to say. Because if you lived the nightmare that we have lived, you understand the importance of the job that he's doing and securing our nation and fighting for our families. Because this could be any family. This happened to my family. This could be any one of your families.
Now, why wouldn't CNN and MS Now cover that? President Trump, whether you're a gold medal winning hockey player or you're the mom of a young woman who shouldn't have been murdered, he sees you. We'll be back right after this on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. That really made me angry. Right? It's like we're gonna tell you what we're gonna cover. You're not gonna know what happened because we're not gonna tell you. You know, so if we don't cover the families that are being honored at the White House, that means that their children didn't get murdered. Their moms and dads didn't get murdered. Their daughters didn't get murdered. Therefore, there's no problem. And she's right. What a thankless job. Thankless job going up against the deep state. She didn't mean it that way, but I read it that way. And Democrats want to boycott that man. Okay. You need to be taken out with the trash. Eric Swalwell and Adam Schiff and Pramila Jayapal and all these other clods. Chris Murphy and Chris Van Hollen and all these other boobs. Okay, whatever. You don't stand for the United States. I'm on Team USA.
I'll say this too for someone in chat, sorry, I missed your name, said, who cares, it's CNN and MSN Now, or MSN Now. Because there's people who aren't plugged into things that are happening. And it's important that they see the mother of someone that was murdered, because those people that watch CNN also have children. And if they never hear this stuff, then they're never going to know. That's the way I look at it. And it's the right thing to do.
He stood up there with the woman whose grandson was killed. And she's like, get off his back. Let him do his job. Stop. I see that. Makes me very angry. You know? Like literally, if you took whomever the liberal is in your life, for me, it's probably my sister, right? And if I were to go through a slideshow of all these things, she would have no idea because she's not exposed to it, right? But the problem is, I don't believe that there is a vast majority or even a slim majority of liberals who once learned how wrong they were or what the real story was or what President Trump has been doing. I don't think they're able to be like, I was wrong. Or, oh my goodness, I never knew that. They just say, that's not true. You're MAGA, right? You're an extremist. You're an election denier. Okay. All right. Well, you go live in your bubble and I'll make sure I don't spend time with you. Isn't that a bummer? Like that's where you are, because you get to a point where you're like, I don't want to pretend anymore. I don't want to dance around this. I'm not going to act like it anymore. I'm not going to pretend that. Kind of get to a point where you're done pretending, right? Blood Flow 7. Wow. Did I get a great testimonial for Blood Flow 7? Hey, Wendy, I've been meaning to email you for several months now to tell you that I totally attribute my taking Blood Flow 7 for 2 to 3 weeks prior to my summer vacation to Croatia and being able to tour the Dubrovnik city wall of 1,080 steps. That is not footsteps. It is stair steps. Did I mention I'm 73 years old and I'm far from being an athlete? Thank you for the referral, says Kathy. Yes, Kathy, thank you for that. Look, it is consistency. And I will tell you, I didn't take my Blood Flow 7 this weekend. And when I went to the gym today, I could tell. Like, you have to take it and take it consistently. And you will experience stamina that you haven't since you were much, much younger. I don't care what your favorite activity is. I don't care if it's just moving around your house and being able to push a vacuum or carry your laundry. You will with bloodflow7.com/Wendy. I love this. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. The other option for the men is the one that has testosterone, does the testosterone for you. Alpha Gold Male. They're both listed at bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Wendy30 is your promo code. And I'm going to tell you, try it consistently for an entire month. This is a month. 60 capsules. I take 2 a day. Same time, 6 a.m. You do this, you go through a whole bottle. I would be absolutely gobsmacked if you didn't email me at wendybellradio@gmail.com and say, oh my gosh, that is a game changer. That is my game changer. bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Nitric oxide. Nitric oxide. It's an enzyme, if I'm not mistaken. Molecule, I guess, opens up your blood vessels. And major things happen once that happens. It's crazy. Love it. Did I see our mutual friend sending us ideas? What is he saying?
That the 250th embroidered flags have finally come in. They're on the website. And I guess one of you guys asked for reusable microfiber cleaning cloths to use with Sniper.
Oh.
So he got them in. So they're on the website too. I told him he should have logos on them.
Do you smell something burning?
Yes, someone cooked something in that little toaster oven.
I'm just making sure because I have COVID nose. So I smell things that don't exist. Like gas,
full transparency, I responded, they aren't logoed.
Oh, geez.
I don't have the logo rights.
That's true. That is true. Don't you love Carl Higbie?
I'm going up to visit a friend in Connecticut. And I so want Wendy to email him so I could give him a Second Amendment gift. And be like, I'll meet you for lunch for a beer.
Do I have that?
And we can go shoot things.
Yeah, I don't know what we're down to.
We're under 30. Here we go.
These Second Amendment commemorative gifts. These.
Okay.
4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
Who can take your money? With a twinkle in their eye? Take it all away and give it to some other guy. The government. The government can. And the government can, because they mix it up with lies and make it all taste good. Government takes everything we make to pay for all of their solutions, like healthcare, climate change, pollution. Just throw away the Constitution. I wrote that, thank you. Who can give a bailout? Tell us to behave. And make the founding fathers roll over in their grave. I don't care if you hate me, I'm going to sing it anyway. Oh, the government can.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Welcome aboard. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. You know, I really wanted you to hear Allison Phillips, Laken Riley's mom, at the end of the last segment. You know, there's no place to fit in a radio program such as this. But there's every place to fit in stories that you need to know. Because actions have consequences. And the actions of the Joe Biden administration, the consequences they have had on us, and the ripple effect that continues is indefensible. It is un-American to have your government turn its back on you when the people that they've invited into this country murder our own family. And I find it so curious. I guess that's not newsworthy. Nancy Guthrie, still no sign of her, still no meaningful leads, still nothing from the forensic lab, still no answers. Let's go out live to the scene. What do you think, Phil? Well, Bob, we've got nothing. Back to you. Thanks, Sheila. That's what you get. I want to talk about this, though, because some of the decisions that the Democrats are making are kind of backfiring on them. And this whole gerrymandering thing. I mean, how do you guys feel about that? I think at base value, there ought to be a system in which there is a more fair way to draw the congressional districts per state, and that each state should probably have some kind of a commission or some kind of an independent group that examines how that works so that it's equitable. I mean, I don't think that you should have a state that's 50-50 Republican and Democrat and have 90% of your representatives in Congress be one party or the other. I don't think that's fair. It doesn't seem fair to me. And I think the most reasonable people would say, if the system was fair, then we wouldn't have to do this gerrymandering, rigging of the lines that we have to do. See, that's how Democrats scored seats in Congress. They're very crafty. They're very good at manipulating things, twisting things, and getting the advantage. Very good at that. Republicans are more like, right? And they're like, oh, well, we can't do that. Blow up the filibuster. Why would we do that? That could be dangerous, right? Democrats are like, blow it up. Does it mean we get one extra something? They'll do it. Republicans, hand-wringing, right? Well, this redistricting in Virginia, which is going to essentially take a Commonwealth, it's 7-1, 7 Democrat representatives to 1 Republican in a state that's far more mixed Republican and Democrat than that. And they want to blow it up so that the whole state, all 8 of them, all 8 seats are Democrats. They want to do that. That's the strategy, right? Yeah, well, people in Virginia, even including Democrats, aren't happy with that. And I think this new poll could spell some doom for the Democrats' shameless gerrymander scheme in Virginia. Look, when we did that, when Texas was like, we're going to do that, right? That was a retaliation. That was a reaction to what Democrats have been doing for so long. I don't think that Republicans are, organized enough, more like herding cats rather than like the clone trooper army that the Democrats have. And it's a problem. But I want to read you this story because it shows that if the Democrats are propping up Abigail Spanberger as their next like Chinese spy balloon that they're going to float across the country and see what everybody thinks about her tonight as she gives the Democrat rebuttal to the president's State of the Union, there's a reason she's been selected. Because they're giving her some wings. Well, she's moved into Virginia, started these 50 new taxes, proposed all these new taxes. They're ultimately ridiculous, right? She's the people there, the workers there, got 150% increase. The city leaders or the state leaders do. Everybody else is scrapping. Yeah, people aren't happy about that. And this new poll could spell doom. There's some new polling out of Virginia. It's not exactly chock full of good news for Democrats. According to this data released yesterday morning by Roanoke College, voters in the Old Dominion like the current method of congressional and legislative redistricting that empowers a non-partisan panel to draw the boundaries. And it's not looking like the Commonwealth's new governor, Democrat Abigail Spanberger, is getting much of a honeymoon period from Virginians. They don't like what's going on. It's been like 4 minutes. Now, before we dive in, let's state that all the usual polling disclaimers apply here. Polls are great. Polls are garbage. You can't trust the polling. You can only write about polls that favor your side, blah, blah, blah. But here's a quick recap. Virginia Democrats are in the process of trying to cram through a new congressional map that would strip Republicans of 4 of the 5 U.S. House seats they currently hold. If the Democrats get their way, the 6-5, oh, I'm wrong. I was thinking about a different state. 6-5 Democrats' Republican count of today would turn into a 10-1 on Election Day. Democrats would get 10, Republicans would get 1. I beg your pardon, I misspoke. In order to get there, they need to override a current voter-approved amendment to the state constitution, right? That created the nonpartisan redistricting panel and replaced it with a new amendment giving bounding, redrawing responsibilities to state lawmakers. Who wants state lawmakers to do that? State lawmakers can't do anything worth a crap. State lawmakers are like your federal ones. They've well past expired, right? Time to get some new ingredients in the kitchen. So on to the results of the poll. It's 800 Virginia residents. It was conducted by phone and by text message between February 9th and February 16th. Quotas were used to ensure all areas of the Commonwealth were represented. Now, when it comes to the Democrats' plan to nuke the balanced congressional map into oblivion, remember, 6-5 right now. They want to blow it up and make it 10-1. The majority of respondents did not like that. They were not on board. 62% say they like the current method for redrawing boundaries. A majority of respondents support the current method of mapping electoral districts. And when asked how they would vote in a referendum to amend the state constitution and change that method, most, 52%, said that they would vote to keep the current process, while 44% said they would vote to adopt the change proposed by the General Assembly. Here's my problem. If you can't trust your elections, right? And we can't. How many which ways do we need to go over all of the examples in which just in 2020, things did not add up? It was fraudulent, plain and simple, hook, line, and sinker, right? So how do you trust any election results today in a system that hasn't changed? If you've not changed the system, how do you expect different results? It doesn't matter what the electorate says. The people in charge in Virginia, Democrats, are going to get their way. They're going to get their way, and they're not going to pay attention to their constituents. 62% of them said, I don't like that. I don't think that one side or the other should at any whim be able to redraw districts just because then every time the party in power changes, then they're going to pass it through in another way, and then the lines will shift again. It is a game. You know what the American people want? They want candidates who don't suck. They want candidates who want to do what is right for them. They want candidates who will celebrate with Team USA hockey, right? Regardless if it's during a Republican Olympic year or Democrat, because of the USA on a shirt. It's not complicated. And these two warring parties aren't understanding this, most likely and more commonly, the Democrats. Now, I should remind you, of course, that all of the ridiculous things that are going on in Virginia right now, the 50 various taxes, gun and ammunition tax, new income tax brackets, a delivery tax that would hit Amazon, Uber Eats, FedEx, you name it, even UPS. Investment income tax, event taxes, storage facility taxes, gym membership tax, a dog walking tax, a dog grooming tax. It's almost like they're seeing how far they can go. How much money can they strip from the people of Virginia until enough people rise up and say, I don't want this. It's like Zoran Mamdani. How long are the people of New York City, and the honeymoon period for him has been even shorter. How long are the people in New York City going to accept a communist socialist mayor who demands what? Photo ID to volunteer to shovel snow for the city, but doesn't think that you should prove who you are to vote in our elections, and who believes that he needs $10 billion more of your taxes to get his socialist pie in the sky objectives across the finish line. It's not going to work. And I don't even need to tell you, Harry Enton is upcoming, of course, with a new poll that submits the same thing I'm saying to you. Democrats are not paying attention to their people. We don't want this gerrymandering. We don't want the election rigging. We don't want the representation thrown out of whack. But they're not listening, which means when we come back on the Wendy Bell Radio program, another victory to tell you about that nobody's going to talk about from this administration. Did you hear what happened at the VA? Huge deal if you were a veteran of these United States or you love one. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. And I would say, too, to anybody, and I understand the retaliatory redistricting that the Republicans are doing, it's a bad look for everybody. It's a bad look for everybody. How about we just get the districts and the lines out of the mix, right? Let's let people vote for the candidates they want and finally take out the garbage. If we could actually have same day, 1 day, paper ballot voting the way it used to be, how many of these people would we find out actually were never even elected? I shudder to think of that number. Are you in pain over there?
Discomfort.
You're in discomfort. Are you trying to find the right spot?
Yes.
I'll tell you what, watching Brock go through some sciatica, some problems with discs, and the good news is he's not as advanced in the decay of his disc, apparently, to need Dr. Richard Rafferty. But millions of Americans are walking around right now with pain in their back and their neck, because the longer you live, the more pressure is on your vertebrae and on your discs. Things get squished, things get out of whack. If your discs deteriorate or get out of place, you've got bones grinding, nerves pinching, and you've got extraordinary pain. And I'm watching it with my friend here every day, and it's hard to watch. You don't have to suffer in pain. You can get help, and you can get help without having surgery. No blood, no scalpels, no surgery, none of that stuff. No cutting into you. It's 98% successful. And you can get it by calling 412-906-9600. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. Ask about it. Go to the website and look at some of the reviews, because people are very effusive in their reviews of this. For a non-surgical procedure to give you relief to 98% of the people who go through it. That's a pretty good track record. 412-906-9600. Is it radiating or is it just focal?
No.
Just focal?
It's my right, like, not even butt, like right below on my hip. Like,
is it that bone? Is it the bone that you feel?
Yes. But like, I have no pain anywhere else, which is fantastic.
Yes, but it's just uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable.
I don't like that.
It's uncomfortable. But compared to what it was a month ago, I mean, I'm just complaining now. It's nowhere near. And someone said red light therapy will help that. That's what I'm doing right now. But when you put things off and put them off and put them off, it doesn't, just like it doesn't hurt overnight, typically, it doesn't go away overnight.
Despite the unpopularity of many of her policies and a rather tepid approval rating, Abigail Spanberger has been picked to give the official Democrat Party rebuttal after Trump's State of the Union tonight. Her selection could be a sign that the party sees her having a national role. Can you imagine? If in literally she was there for less than a hot second before she's like, you know what, we need a pay raise and all these new taxes to pay for our pie in the sky agenda.
Hot second. I think she did the day that she was.
What do you get? What do you get for having her in office besides a higher tax burden and probably diminishing services? And that's the model?
These are the same people that elected the guy who wished, the attorney general who wished the other guy's kids.
Yeah, died.
Yeah. That'll show them.
That's super sweet. I love that. Die. What? It makes no sense. But look, all of these antics, I think the Republicans need to be, I don't know. Veteran in your life, if you are one, I'm not the only one in this country who believes you should get the finest immediate health care anywhere on planet Earth. I believe that you should get access to the best doctors, to the most immediate care, and that some people have to drive like an hour or two to get to a VA facility that can accommodate them. We've got veterans every day slipping through the cracks. And the VA has been woeful in many of their avenues to try to address this. This is changing. And it doesn't sound like something to celebrate. I'm going to tell you, the president finds it is something worth celebrating. A milestone in serving veterans for the first time in nearly 6 years. The Department of Veterans Affairs announced that the backlog of disability compensation and pension benefit claims is consistently below 100,000. That's how bad it's been. That the backlog of claims is now below 100,000. I'm like, and this is something worthy of celebration. Oh, indeed it is. The VA has not reached this milestone since May of 2020 when President Trump was in office. It reported an average backlog of more than 200,000 claims from 2021 to 2024. Again, government-run stuff is never run well. Under President Trump, VA is providing veterans and families and caregivers and survivors of all of the benefits they have earned as quickly and conveniently as possible, VA Secretary Doug Collins said. The department has now cut the backlog of veterans waiting for VA benefits by 63% since January 20th, 2025, when Trump took office. You know, it's what Allison Phillips, Laken Riley's mom, said to the president. You didn't have to open up the White House to these angel families whose loved ones were murdered by criminal illegal aliens. You didn't have to take on the cartels. You didn't have to close the border. You didn't have to get beaten over things like Minneapolis. And yet you do, because you care. And nobody else does. I mean, how many veterans are like, I've given everything I have to this country. Can I not get a timely appointment with my doctor? And you know what's amazing about veterans? They don't want to gobble up somebody else's space, because there's always somebody more deserving in the eyes of a veteran. They don't want to talk about what they've been through. And yet they'll never shake it. They don't want to be called heroes. And they don't want to ask for help. And yet these are the people among us who deserve it the most. 63%, they've cut the processing down. That's huge. That's 1 year. That's every day getting up and doing this. It's every day looking at the piles. It's every day going through the data. It's every day making the connections and making all of the decisions and getting these men and women who put their lives on the line for us, what they deserve. A VA claim for compensation or pension is considered backlogged once it's been pending in the claims inventory for more than 125 days. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Nothing well until now. Now. And this president today is going to come out and he's going to talk about now. He's going to say, look, we inherited an awful lot. We're just getting started. We've gotten one of our 4 years under our belt, and we're now gearing up for the most glorious second year. You want to talk about a golden age? You want to talk about the age of prosperity? You want to talk about getting through the red tape? You want to talk about efficiency, affordability, and safety? Well, welcome to America. Because that's what our plan is for these American people. That's what you're going to hear tonight. And you're going to have Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell and all these other losers doing some counter programming. Okay. In 2013, a record 70% of claims at the VA were older than 125 days. You're waiting for more than, a third of the year, half of a year, more than a year to get your claims paid, to get your benefits up to speed, to get the freaking medical care or psychological care that you deserve. Look, it's thankless what this president does, because no matter what he does on the left, it will be wrong, period. And sadly, there aren't enough very strong Republicans standing up and fighting for this president and this administration, which is why we do. I want to talk about what's coming up next on the Wendy Bell radio program, because it's a reason 452 why I do not trust polling. All right? So we talked about, bad polling for the president. Oh, great polling for the president. Oh, bad polling. Oh, it's a seesaw you're on, right? Well, we're going to talk about this. With hours to go before the State of the Union, you can cue this new polling to suggest a majority of Americans absolutely hate what this president is doing. He should throw in the towel and not even return. In fact, he shouldn't even show up tonight. It's that bad. Or is it? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. VA backlog story is huge. Huge. They won't mention that. It's not sexy. What did Don Lemming say that Donald Trump doesn't care about America?
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
He wouldn't take his phone call.
Oh, that's right. Don wouldn't call. He wouldn't take the phone
Maybe
call.
if a real president like Obama called, he said.
Whatever. Trump's not calling you, buddy, so don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. Turd.
Neither is employers.
Thehealthyfat.com. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy is going to put you in touch with MCT Wellness. This is Dr. Gundry's drink. This is his weight loss extravaganza. It's simple. And I started drinking it because, quite frankly, I don't drink enough water, but it's sweet and it's a little tangy and it's delicious, and it takes your appetite and it flushes it down the toilet for several hours. So if you're like, oh my God, I'm dying, I've got to eat something, this completely crushes in about 40 minutes. And this is a dietary supplement for Dr. Gundry that he lost all of his weight on. Very simple. You got blueberry, you got raspberry, you got watermelon, and you've got this watermelon lemonade powder. Scoop it into your bottle of water that you drink, or in one of your, hydro flasks or whatever you've got. Shake it up, throw in some ice, and oh my, do this and drink the whole thing. It's probably going to take you, I don't know, 2 months, month and a half. If you drink this every day, maybe once or twice a day, right? And you'll find out that you can lose significant, dramatic weight without an injection. Dr. Gundry lost almost 80 pounds. It's a lot. And this is what he does. And he still does this. It's been 20 years, and he says he's seen thousands of people lose the same amount of weight. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. There's a discount in there. And by the way, I'll say it again, the video that the whole thing starts with is worth watching. Dr. Gundry goes to a lot of time and a lot of money putting together videos that set up some of the answers to questions that you might have about decisions that you're making to lose weight. Then he explains to you why maybe that's not working for you, and why perhaps, and it's not an expensive thing, why perhaps thehealthyfat.com/Wendy would work. I think it's great. All right. Well, you know what? I don't know. I haven't seen what gold and silver is doing. Are you feeling rich in there?
Yeah.
Are you?
Wait, did you bring gold today?
I did not. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you anyway.
Wow.
He'd stick out his leg and I'd fall down the stairs and he'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. It's just that pain in my hip.
Yeah, I probably couldn't be bent over to pick it up though. So.
Okay, so let's see. Gold is down $48, $51.61, $5,000 an ounce. That's not bad. Silver
up $87.85.
Up $1.
I'm in the money.
Platinum and palladium are up there too. So you can discover the secrets of financial stability, or to financial stability, with gold, shipped right to your door, free of charge, no confusing PDFs. They take care of their Wendy Bell Radio fans, and that means you. I'm literally reading their website. It says gold has long been considered a reliable store of value during periods of economic turmoil and instability. Historically, gold has demonstrated stability as a hedge against inflation and current depreciation. Since the U.S. left the gold standard in 1971, the U.S. dollar has lost about 90% of its purchasing power, while gold has increased over 7,000% in that same time, which is why it's such a great option for diversifying portfolios and protecting wealth during turbulent periods. I just like it because I think it's really cool. And the coins are beautiful. I'm telling you what, whether you get gold coins, gold bullion, gold buffaloes, gold rounds, gold bars, silver, platinum, palladium, 855-927-5557. They're great. WendyLovesGold.com. 855-927-5557. There have been more gold companies that have reached out to us and been like, do you have a gold sponsor? And I'm like, yeah. And then they ask me, do you mind if I ask you which one? And then I tell them and they're like, okay, fair enough. Good luck. because they know Texas Bullion Exchange is extraordinary, and very responsive, quickly responsive. WendyLovesGold.com.
You know what's not extraordinary?
What?
223.
I know. Can we get 270 people before we get back? No.
In 45 seconds.
See, before
See
when
who
we
can be the first one to click it.
We used to be able to get there. That is a big deal for this administration to get down under 100,000 backlogged claims.
Oh, I thought you were going to say rumbles.
No. Can't control it. Mortgage rates just dropped again. You guys hear that?
If we didn't have so many damn illegals, the prices would go down too. I'm done with the illegal immigrants too. Illegal aliens.
Yeah. I think you're right about that. Why am I dancing around your proven or your choice? I don't even know if Donald Trump should show up tonight. It's looking so bad for him. It's like nobody likes anything he's doing. Nobody likes anything. They don't like the economy. They don't like this tariff stuff. They don't like all the billions of dollars coming in. They don't like the secure border. They don't like anything. The cut in crime, the cut in murder, the cut in drug overdoses. I hate all of that, right? Before we get to that, before you guys can chew on the data, I want to just tell you, did you know that mortgage rates just dropped below 6%? Oh my gosh. How horrible has this been? The mortgage rate debacle. I remember when Joe and I refinanced a million years ago, and I was able to get our 30-year whatever I had. It was like 3.75, which was probably great at the time, down to 2.5 and cut my term by 50%. And we paid off our house in 21 years. Yeah, you can't do that anymore. Mortgage rates up to the 9-10%. Say what? Well, now they just dropped below 6%, matching the lowest level since 2022. And this is a huge deal. Average rate on the popular 30-year fixed mortgage fell to 5.99% Monday. According to Mortgage News Daily, matching its lowest level since 2022. Last year at this time, the rate was 6.89%. And you know what this does? This opens up the ability for, it says, about 5.5 million households that could not qualify for a mortgage 1 year ago, gives them access to qualify at today's lower rates. 5.5 million households. That's a first-time house. That's the American dream. That's what Barack Obama, through the auto pen of Joe Biden, took away from the American people. And so anybody out there who wants to blame this administration for that, bounce back to where we were in 2020, because it was a hell of a lot better than where it is now because of Joe Biden. With that being said, let's get over to this new poll. I mean, it literally, I was like, wow, why are we even showing up for anything anymore? Washington Post. So we're going to give you two polls. I saw this and I'm like, curious that you would drop such a devastating poll on the eve of, because this dropped last night, of this State of the Union. 60% disapprove of President Trump ahead of the State of the Union. A Washington Post, ABC News, Ipsos poll has found. But Democrats apparently have made little headway in persuading Americans that they have any better ideas or policies to offer. I mean, wow, such dire news, because we're going to put this side by side, the same poll, same people during the first year, after the first year of Joe Biden's presidency, and we'll see what they said about him. As President Donald Trump prepares to address the nation tonight, Americans remain generally sour about his performance, with majorities disapproving of his handling of priority initiatives while saying he's overreached the authority of his office, according to this poll. The president's approval rating stands, wow, this is terrible, at 39% positive and 60% negative, including 47% who say they strongly disapprove of him. Do you believe that? Is that how you feel? Is that how people around you feel? What did you just pay for gas the other day? How's it looking where you live? Because that's the number one driver of economic, I don't know, health in my community. What does it cost? Are you guys waiting in line at Sam's or Costco anymore? Because I remember that. I remember being 4 cars deep as the price was nearing $5 a freaking gallon in Pennsylvania. That was during Joe Biden. But you know what? 60% of Americans don't like that that's changed. They just don't like Donald Trump, apparently. Well, the president's approval rating stands at 39% positive and 60% negative, including 47% who say they strongly disapprove. The last time Trump's disapproval touched 60% was shortly after the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. Well, was it really an attack on the U.S. Capitol, or was really Democrats trying to create a smokescreen to cover up from the fact that they stole the 2020 election? Bing, 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 bing. Okay. So among the registered voters in this poll, at that point, Trump's approval was at 41%. He's now at 39%. Wow, that's terrible. Is it? Dissatisfaction with Trump applies to specific issues as well, with significant majority saying they disapprove of how he's handling the economy, tariffs, inflation, and relations with other countries. What don't you like about that? You don't like that President Trump and the leaders of 60 other countries have come together to form the Board of Peace, right? And the goal isn't to eliminate the UN or NATO or anything, but to just, I don't know, focus on peace. You hate that? You hate that all these countries are going to pledge building new factories and whatnot here in this country, or they're going to pay tariffs if they want to sell their stuff here. You don't like that? Really? Inflation, how's that working for you? Because I have a couple graphics I could pull up here, which tell the true story of where we were under Joe Biden, but apparently 60% in this new poll preferred Joe Biden. Overall inflation under Biden was up 20% in his 4 years. Home prices jumped 35%. Mortgage rates, oh my gosh, they skyrocketed 148% under Joe Biden. Gas prices, regular gasoline, that soared 46%. Food prices, 21.5%. Those were the 4 years under Joe Biden. But this new Washington Post ABC News poll tells us that now people really just don't like President Trump. Really? Well, let's go back, shall we? President Biden's job approval sinking on inflation, crime, and COVID. Same poll, basically about the same time in his presidency as this one's dropping about Donald Trump. Let's review how everybody loved Joe Biden. President Joe Biden is facing significant skepticism from the American public, with his job approval rating lagging across a range of major issues, including new lows for his handling of crime, gun violence, and the economic recovery, this new ABC News Ipsos poll finds. As the White House confronts rising and widespread concern about inflation, Americans are especially negative about how the Biden administration is managing this issue. More than 2/3 of Americans, 69%, disapprove of how Biden is handling inflation. Only 28% at this point in his presidency approved. While more than half, 57%, disapprove of his handling of the economic recovery. Partisan splits for inflation show expected negativity in Republican views. Of course, 94% disapproving of him. But the survey also reveals weaknesses from Biden's own party, with only a slim majority of Democrats, 54%, approving. Biden's orbit is also hemorrhaging independent voters, with 71% disapproving of his handling of inflation. However, despite these horrible numbers, right? During his time, this time of his presidency, 43% of the people in this poll said, well, but we approve of what he's doing generally. 39% today say they approve of President Trump. Do you believe that? Because I don't. And I'll tell you why. It's curious because Joe Biden's poll involved 1/5 the number of respondents and involved a margin of error 2.5 times the one that's out right now about President Trump. 5 times more people in this polling sample, 5 times more, with a margin of error of 2.5% versus Joe Biden's 5%. If you don't think pollsters can manipulate data by the way they ask questions, the number of people they ask, where they ask them, right? And what the margin of error is, you're kidding yourself. I believe none of them. Why would we? When the president gets up today and the Democrats sit on their hands and he says to you, you know what, I understand that the cost of living has gotten out of control. I wish we didn't have that 4-year break where they carved me out and they installed Joe Biden because we were on a roll. We were on an economic boon, the likes of which we haven't seen in generations. We had unemployment down to historic levels. We were building factories and bringing made in America back to be fashionable again here in this country. We were signing deals. We were drilling, opening up the pipelines, bringing down the cost of gas. Because when you bring down the cost of gas, you bring down the cost of food. You bring down the cost of energy. You bring down the cost of living. The president will get up and say, we've got a long way to go. But I think we're on track. We want to make things fair for you, the American people. You've bent over backwards and paid for the world's pharmaceutical costs. In fact, you, my dear friends in America, have paid 75% of the world's burden of pharma prices since God knows when. I don't think that's fair. And so I fought for you. They brought in millions of people and gave them the sky, free healthcare, free education, free everything. And you paid for it, and they lied to you about it. I don't think that's fair. They've ruined your schools, indoctrinated your students, co-opted teachers, and have made it into some liberal bastion of grooming. I don't like that. I think America can do better, right? And when it comes to safety, not only am I going to build you a golden dome to frighten every other ne'er-do-well country that even thinks about fiddling with these United States or our Western Hemisphere, we're going to make sure that the men and women who are hired to take the illegal immigrants who've come into this country and have terrorized us, not all of them, but one is one too many. We're going to round them up and we're going to get them out. We're going to get rid of China. We're going to tell all these big banks, right? Get out of buying homes. It's Americans' chance now. It is Main Street's go. That is what we are going to hear from this president tonight. So I do not make any apologies to our friends at ABC News, The Washington Post, or Ipsos. I believe nothing that you say because you know what? None of you did. None of you decided to talk about a very special White House ceremony yesterday in which people we all should be able to rally behind were reminded that they're not forgotten. I voted for that. I bet you did too. Mortgage rates, 5.99. How low can they go? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. The political party that Harry Enton calls a clown car. Well, judging from this poll, you'd think it was Republicans. Yeah, not so much. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I am unabashedly supporting of this president and this administration.
You're what?
Unabashedly supportive of them. We've seen the alternative and it sucks. Right?
That's putting it mildly.
All right. So if you are ever interested in, and I'm going to say, here we go. If you tend to get ill during this cold and flu season, if being inside where you work or what have you, if you tend to find yourself getting usually sick during the winter months, let me tell you about Healthy Cell's Immune Super Boost. It's like literally having your fairy godmother wave her magic wand and put a bubble of protection around you. And if you take it every single day, And literally, it's consistency. It is true. It's consistency. If you take this every single day, you are going to fight off the probability of getting those cold and viruses so well. I want to read you what's in it. Immunity activating vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients, including vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and echinacea for powerful immune support. Do you remember when Dr. Eric Naputi from St. Louis was on our show during COVID? I do. We were in the basement. Michael was probably sucking up the water from the flood. And we had Dr. Eric Naputi on, who was being sued by the Biden administration for $500 billion. Why? Because he talked about vitamin D and zinc as being really good treatments or like protective measures against the COVID virus. We're going to sue you. Well, that's packed in here. So this is what you want. Healthycell.com. You get these cute little packets. Super easy to open up. Suck it in. Same time every day. Do it every single day. Be consistent. Use the whole thing. See how you feel. Get a discount. Healthycell.com/Wendy. I use the Healthy Cell Focus and Recall every day, but I know a lot of people who are using 3 or 4 every day, including the owner of the company. I should go through his protocol with you because he uses Focus and Recall and REM. I took REM. I took REM the other day because I couldn't sleep, and I only got 4 hours of sleep, maybe. And thanks to REM, you wake up and you don't drag all day. I don't know how they do it. I don't know. But they do. Healthycell.com/Wendy. You freezing?
No, it's...
Oh, you hot?
Sweating.
Oh, you're sweating.
I'm having a power surge.
The air just kicked on.
Good.
Good? Okay. Oh, you have a sweatshirt. You can take it off, right?
I could.
But then you'll be cold.
No.
Welcome to being a woman.
Wow.
What? Never easy to please.
I'm pretty easy to please.
You are. You're amenable to most things. 2.41. I don't know how many more like distasteful faces I could make. I love that the poll, though. We're going to sample like 4 people for Joe Biden, and we're going to do 3,000 for Donald Trump.
We're going to do as many as it takes to get. It's like the ballots.
Thank you. I'm not so sure I made that point abundantly clear.
Yeah,
but that's
we're going
why
to keep going until we get what we want to see.
We're going to do 5 times the sample size of Donald Trump. We're going to ask more questions, and the margin of error, we're going to say, much smaller. Joe Biden, oh, it's all over the place. Right.
Oh, Harry.
It's just so silly. And then they act like you don't. President, there's always a poll that's dropped to try to, I don't know, guide you towards the right, I don't know, what, cattle shoot? Off to slaughter? Nobody likes what this president is doing. I can't think of one thing that he's doing that I don't like. Well, he's a little heavy-handed with the protesters. No. No, he's not. No, he's not. I refuse to believe that. Absolutely not. Harry Enton, not on my card today, but it popped up in the 11th hour, and we had to squeeze him in, thanks to Brock and his eagle eyes. He's like, look, Gavin Newsom is sucking major wind, okay? So he said something in Atlanta to an audience, and you're going to hear about it. John Berman at CNN plays a clip of what Gavin Newsom said and then bounces to the big screen with Harry, where it looks like none of the Democrat quote-unquote candidates for president are actually gaining any kind of traction whatsoever. Audio soundbite number 1.
This morning, California Governor Gavin Newsom is pushing back after critics seized on comments he made at an Atlanta event accusing him of racism. Listen to this.
I'm like you. I'm no better than you. You know, I'm a 960 SAT guy.
Newsom calls it all fake outrage. This is, we're getting a sense, President Trump is 1 year in to his final term, but still it's never too early to talk about the next presidential election. With us now is CNN chief data analyst Harry Etten. So we see Governor Newsom. He's got a book, I think, which actually publishes today. He's in the middle of the fray of possible Democratic contenders. So what do the polls say?
Yeah, they're all running, and this is just a downright clown car at this point on the Democratic side. I mean, just take a look here. Top choices for the 2028 Dem-Pres nominee. You have a leader, but it's not really a clear leader. It's within the margin of error. You have Newsom at 19%. Then you have former Vice President Kamala Harris at 18%. Quite a weak number for her, given that, of course, she was the nominee last time around. Pete Buttigieg, who, of course, has run before, 13%. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez at 12%. This is just a total clown car. It is a total mess. There is no clear front runner at this particular point on the Democratic side. Who the heck knows who the nominee is going to be in 2 years?
100% correct. And he said, look, there's literally no front runner to even sort of get excited about on the Democratic side.
It's been a long time since we've had a Democratic race like this.
Yeah, it has been a long time. This is very unusual for the Democratic side to not have a clear front runner at this point. National early poll leader at least 25%. Look at this. This year, we get the giant question mark. No one. In 2020, when there was no incumbent, it was Joe Biden who was there, Hillary Clinton in both 08 and 16, and Al Gore in both 2000 and 2004 at this point. We're at least at 25% of the early polls. You have to go all the way back from when I wasn't even in elementary school yet, not even in pre-K yet, to 1992. That was the last cycle in which there was no clear front runner at this point. Very unusual.
Wait a minute. Harry was not born by 1992. What is he talking about? He wasn't even in preschool. You got to Google him for me, Brock, and tell me how old this cat is. I'm like, what, 1990? Okay, so what are Newsom's odds at this point of being the Democratic nominee for president? Uh-oh.
It seems to me that Gavin Newsom is flailing a little bit, at least compared to where he was prior. Because just take a look here. Okay, Chance Newsom is the 2028 Democratic nominee. 3 months ago, according to the cash prediction market, look at that. It was a 37% chance. Now, it's just a 28%. Down he goes. He's definitely flailing a little bit. And I will note, John, that it also seems to me people are a little less interested in Gavin Newsom than they used to be. Look at this. Google searches for Gavin Newsom down 63% from the August peak. You remember back then it was when he started that social media, right, going after President Trump. There was a lot of interest from Democratic voters, but maybe that interest is waning off just a little bit. And, of course, you don't necessarily want to wane it off just yet because I think we still have a lot of time till the votes are out.
Waning? I mean, honest to goodness, what does Gavin Newsom, what does the Democrat Party stand for? High taxes, open border, forced medicine, right? Stealing your personal freedom, your personal decision-making, big government, lots of secrecy, lots of failure, right? I mean, honest to God, why would anybody want to go back? I don't get it. Harry Etten, born the year I graduated from high school, Brock. It's a little humbling.
I don't know. Is he too young for you?
As a boyfriend?
Yeah. I mean, he's what, 37 or 38?
What's the actual gauge there? I'm 55. He's 37. The answer is yes. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted you guys to hear this, though. The polling and when it drops and what it's about is very telling. There are only so many ways people can control you. And one is most assuredly through the media. And another is most assuredly through the polling, which who covers? That's right, the media. So if you've got a fake news narrative you want to float out there, you want to put up a Chinese spy balloon to see which of your candidates has a better chance of making it to the finish line, well, there you go. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, hour number 3, have you ever wondered why the left relies so much on feelings, right? Feelings. Oh, the emotions of it all. Well, I decided to do a little walk back in time, and I want to read you something because it's almost like the genesis of this crybaby period for the Democrats. It's worth it. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. So I was literally right before, and listening to the guy who's screaming about Kash Patel in the locker room, who was trying to say that he should be investigating much more important stuff like Nancy Guthrie. And I'm like, my man, are you the only, even people at the gym today were like, yeah, whatever happened to that woman? It literally was wall-to-wall coverage not a week ago. And now it's sort of like, poof, where did it go? What's coming? Who has an idea on that? Brock, do you have any ideas? Because I say, what's the tsunami going to be? Is it going to be what I hope it's going to be that John Solomon's been saying it's going to be? I don't know. Which is just clear, undeniable evidence of election fraud.
Just let me point out that Harry might not be too young for you. Joe's girlfriend's 43.
Well, that's true.
So, that's only 5 years. Where's the cutoff? I'm just saying, the fair is fair.
Joe, my husband's girlfriend, his love is Christina Bobb. And I'm not saying that I love Harry Enton.
Right. But you have called him a boyfriend.
Yeah.
So it's right there for you.
I want to tell you about Ireland Contracting, you guys. You got to love Ireland Contracting and the work that they do. You don't if you don't live in Pennsylvania, but if you do live in Southwestern, land before time like we do, I want you to go to IrelandContracting.com because we all have home exterior projects we have to put on, and they almost never arrive at a good time. It's like a big storm that shows you, oh my gosh, our roof is kaput. Got to get a new roof. How do you do that? How about all new windows? How about putting up some new siding on the side of your house? How about putting in a new front door, maybe even a bay window? How about getting your house some new electrical stuff done? You got some electrical panels. You want to put in some new fixtures, switch out a couple plugs. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. They're wonderful people. We love them personally. And both Brock and I have used them professionally. And they're worth every moment. Every moment. Did your Graham ever get her new door? Or did she put a hold on that?
She put a hold on it. A screen door in the middle of winter, really.
Yeah, it might not be the time for it. That's all right. We'll figure it out.
Oh, Demanda's claiming Carl Higbee is her boyfriend. I just said he's a boy. That doesn't mean that boyfriend. That means I want to drink beer and shoot guns with him. That's it. Hang out.
You can do that with boyfriends.
You see, that just sounds...
What?
No offense to the gay people, but that sounds gross to me. I'm going to high five Carl with a handful of testosterone. Yeah, let's shoot guns and blow shit up.
Oh my God, I'm going to the bathroom.
Right? That's what guys do. We do stupid things that make us live a lot shorter lifespans than women. We do dumb shit. Drink beer, shoot guns, and I could totally hang with Carl Higbee. Totally hang with him. Dummy just doesn't seem like he'd be fun. Doesn't take things too seriously. He's what a lot of women. I'm going to speak for you ladies. He's a man's man, right? Like you could see him eating a steak with his bare hands, chugging beer. And it just sounds weird when a woman always says, "Oh, he's a boyfriend of." No, he's not. That's like Sean Parnell. Sean Parnell and I are boys. I have drank with Sean, and We never shot, but I'm gonna have to bring that up to him. But yeah, Sean's one of those guys. He's a guy's guy. Like, you want to shoot and drink beer with him.
I want to shoot and drink beer with him.
Yeah, might have to invite him. Yeah, I could totally.
So I took Murphy to Dr. Mike yesterday.
He's a fatty bobalatti.
Murphy's put on a few lbs in his senior years. He's about 5 to 7 pounds overweight. It is also winter.
It's
and
winter
it's not
weight.
like
That's what I said.
We haven't been like marching through the woods like we normally do.
It's his winter weight.
I'm gonna let him be.
I like how everybody's like, we're gonna have to cut back on the treats. What?
He is so great. Dr. Mike is so great. And you know what Joe said as we left? You could tell he absolutely loves what he does.
Oh.
Isn't that great? Joe's like, he's dynamite to have as your veterinarian because he's always thinking outside of the box. Everybody's animal is the most important animal.
And thank you for everyone who watches the pet show. That's pure passion, not just for me. You know, he's taking care of Mikey, we've kind of like, she's like the show mascot now, you know, states away now. And Mike is still in constant contact with her, getting him right and getting him what he needs. And
he just told me stories about where he trained and how he stayed in certain environments because he was learning so much. He was learning about cancer. He was learning about all these new treatments.
That's why
he's so interesting.
He was so like knowledgeable about COVID. He did that, like that immunity, baby bubbles and bubble babies.
He's just
smartest man I know.
All that. Love him. All right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. You know, I don't know what it says about my private social life, but I kind of got lost for an hour yesterday going through these White House one sheets. You guys done this? There's actually a site where you can go White House one sheets, and it's just like literally one sheet on a subject. This is what we're doing. This is what our thought process is. This is what our, objective is. We'll keep you posted. One sheet. It's a brilliant way to communicate with the American people. And so I search, and you can search anything you want. You can put in tariffs, trade, whatever it is that you want to talk about. And I wanted to know how many businesses and foreign governments have made a pledge to this president, not to America, not to the Republican Party, not to MAGA, but to President Donald J. Trump, that they would invest in America. How many? And it was this list. It was on and on and on and on. And it was all from top to bottom. Who's pledging the most? You got the United Arab Emirates pledging something like $600 billion, right? And then you go all the way down to this like little mealy one that's, it's only $5 million that we're pledging to do thus and such with. And it's not one sheet. It's like up and up. You keep scrolling and scrolling and it's auto manufacturers, it's machine makers, it's GE, it's Stellantis, it's all these foreign governments. It's trillions upon trillions of dollars. It's new manufacturing, it's new plants. It's hundreds of thousands of new jobs. And so I look at these polls and they're like 60% of Americans really don't approve of this president. Either 60% of Americans are stone cold doomcoffs or something's wrong with the polling, because I don't see what there is not to like. I don't see what there's not to like in bringing money, bringing pride, bringing American exceptionalism, bringing America to where it deserves to be, and that is at the very front of the world stage, period. Right? So with that being said, you've got facts, hard, stone cold facts. This is what's been pledged. This is the amount of money we've already brought in with tariffs. This is where we plan to go. And the ultimate goal, yes, is to eliminate the IRS and create the External Revenue Service, where there is not another income tax you pay, where there is not another fee or tariff for you that you shoulder, because all these other countries that have been ripping us off with their trade barriers, etc., are going to be the ones who are footing the bill. God, I hate that. 60% of Americans really don't like what he's doing. Really? They want you to believe that there's something inherently cruel about Donald Trump. He's mean. He's cruel. He's nasty. He's gauche, right? Oh, can you believe him? And I started going back. I was like, when was it that the Democrats clung on to this idea of cruelty? When did that become the big deal? That Democrats vote for us. We're the good guys. We're the ones who have a moral fiber. We care about people. It's all about freedom and fairness and equality and equity. And we're such good people, don't you know? And it's almost pathological because it's just dumb. The whole feelings thing versus the facts. I'm sorry, but one is going to be better than the other, and it's the facts. So I found this article from The Atlantic, and I want to read. I'm going to get as far as I can on it with you, because it opens that doorway in my vision to when this became kind of the roadmap. Democrats don't have anything. They don't have policy. They don't have results. They don't have job creation. They don't have gas prices are down. They don't have things are good. They don't have young people are buying homes and they're optimistic. They crashed all of that. When did that happen? Well, I found this article in The Atlantic. And by the way, I took one for the team. I spent $90 for an annual subscription to this drivel so I could read you this article. President Trump and his supporters find community by rejoicing in the suffering of those they hate and fear. That's a pretty bold statement. And that was made in October of 2018. That's just literally that President Trump and his supporters find community by rejoicing in the suffering of those they hate and fear. Now, juxtapose that with Kash Patel celebrating in the USA men's locker room. And the article title, "The Cruelty is the Point." This is it, you guys. This is where it began. And they always go back to slavery to justify their do-goodery. You ready? The Museum of African American History and Culture is in part a catalog of cruelty. Amid all the stories of perseverance, tragedy, and unlikely triumph are the artifacts of inhumanity and barbarism, the child-side slave shackles, the bright red robes of the wizards of the KKK. Well, the artifacts that persist in my memory, the author writes, the way of a bright flash does, the way you close your eyes, are the photographs of lynchings. Look, it is all based on this one part of American and, quite frankly, world history, all about slavery. Because of course, some of the biggest purveyors of the slave trade were Black people, right? African people. So let's not just say this is a white person thing. But he goes into this article about how, if we go back in time and we look at the videos or the photos of lynchings and all of these problems, blah, 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 there is a connection with President Trump, apparently. And this is what he says. The Trump era is such a whirlwind of cruelty that it can be hard to keep track. This week alone, remember, this is 2018, the news broke that the Trump administration was seeking to ethnically cleanse more than 193,000 American children of immigrants whose temporary protected status had been revoked by the administration. That the Department of Homeland Security had lied about creating a database of children that would make it possible to unite them with the families that the Trump administration had arbitrarily destroyed. This is the prevailing Keith Olbermann, right, mindset. That there is something so barbaric and distasteful and discriminatory about President Trump, about this one individual. They will try to shackle him to perhaps the ugliest chapter of American history. Of course, slavery and all of that. This is the inception of the cruelty line that you will hear if you pay close attention the closer we get to the midterms. The idea is to justify your goodness, your purity as a Democrat, to understand how good and how well-intentioned the Democrat person is, the liberal, the lefty is. It's all about the cruelty of one man, Donald Trump. Donald Trump wants to ethnically cleanse the world. Donald Trump wants to separate kids in cages. Donald Trump wants to drag people away. That is why every single storyline has to come back and circle full 360 back to the idea that Donald Trump is too cruel for America. And if you voted for him, then you are a cruel, barbaric individual too. It is a mental disease that we are dealing with. And it's one that's been spoon-fed at least a couple generations of young people through the public education system. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is then exacerbated when they go to college, and you've got basically career teachers, not career doers. No offense to professors out there. You guys, a lot of you are extraordinarily bright, right? But it's one thing to teach, it's another thing to do. And the teachers are teaching America's children and mushy minds that Donald Trump is cruel. And if you vote that way, you're a bad person. And so an Olympic athlete wearing the Team USA flag and embroidered logo on their jersey gets up and says, I'm proud of America, but not of this president. This is the genesis of it. He has to be shackled to something that does not get off of his fingerprints. It is being cruel. And that's why Charlottesville, very fine people on both sides, where they cherry picked the president's comments when he said, obviously not white supremacists and nationalists and those, but they're good people on both sides of arguments usually. Ugh! Cruelty. Pay close attention to that in the weeks and the months ahead. He says the cruelty of the Trump administration's policies and the ritual rhetorical flaying of his targets before his supporters are intimately connected. It goes into Kavanaugh. The cruelty of the rapist. Don't worry about being innocent until proven guilty. In the leftist's mind, anything that elevates them, right, over you and your vote for this depraved man, it gives them their sanctimonious do-goodery of idiocy, cruelty. It is purposeful, it is planned, and it will be projected in the months ahead. Make no mistake and don't doubt me. And when they say it, hear it and know they've got nothing else. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Gavin Newsom, the new Joe Biden. We already heard John Berman at CNN talking to Harry Enton about Gavin's big flub, telling the black people in the audience in Atlanta, I'm no better than you are. I got a 960 on the SAT. Did he really stick the landing on that, or did he just destroy his presidential ambition? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. And we can hear the spectacle of cruel laughter throughout the Trump era. These are like legitimately nutty people who see the world like this, and it's Trump and everything he does, and then it's them, right? It's got to be diagnosable. It just does. I want to know what the facts are. Give me the White House one sheet, right? Because it's like, ooh, $500 billion from, right, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Like, what? That's amazing. Or you're just so cruel. Really? Like, which do you guys prefer? I prefer GLP-1 Gold by my friends at Juvenon. So they've got,
that's what Murphy needs.
They've got other, right? Well, this product works. I'm just going to say GLP-1 Gold from Juvenon, same company that makes Blood Flow 7, and you get there by going to the same spot, bloodflow7.com. GLP-1, it's a hormone that plays a huge role in telling your brain when you've had enough to eat. And when that hormone isn't firing, it's not working the way it should, you're like, "Arr, arr, 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 arr," which is why a lot of people are like, I can't help it. Like, I'm not sitting here and just gorging myself. My brain is not telling me, right? This product by Juvenon, it's a capsule that you take. And instead of an injection, it enforces that hormone firing so that your body knows it's full. And so what ends up happening is you are full. You don't eat as much. It becomes your dietary supplement, right? Can you imagine taking this in conjunction with Blood Flow 7? Like, you're not going to eat so much and you're going to have stamina. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. So what people usually notice is not magic weight loss. It's feeling full sooner. It's fewer cravings and it's less food noise. I've got to have Pringles throughout the day. GLP-1 Gold. I'm just going to say that my son Jack, I'm just saying, he took the bottle and he's looking pretty good. So we'll see what happens. If you have weight to lose, this is perhaps one of your tools. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy.
Maybe sprinkle a little MTC Wellness in his water, too.
It cannot hurt. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. What are you sending me here?
Oh, the people involved in the People's State of the Union.
So you're either Team America or you're not.
Summer Lee.
Ooh, big names.
Chris Murphy.
These are all people I can't wait to go see. Oh, Joy Reid wearing her Donald Trump wig.
Adam Schiff.
Oh.
He's a shift head.
Oh. Who else?
Maryland man guy. What's his name?
Oh, wait. Chris Van Hollen?
Yes. And that young guy from Florida. Max Frost.
Mm-hmm.
Jemiah Jayapal or whatever.
Pramila.
Is. Yeah.
Pramila. She seems lovely. Almost like Rashida.
Joy Reid. Here's the thing. She's like the Brian Stelter of MSN now.
100%.
I'll take whatever you got. Well, we want you to come back and just fill in.
Whatever happened to Rashida Tlaib?
She's still trying to impeach the MFer.
That's what happens when you have that kind of memory. Like
that's what a butthole as a person looks like.
Yes. This delicate dance around black and white relations, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, stop it already. What did they blame on Joe Biden's cognitive collapse? Oh, he had a stutter. Remember, you weren't supposed to make fun of the stutter, right? It's amazing that the most cognitively aware person in Congress right now is John Fetterman, the guy who had the stroke, right? And then Joe Biden, he's like, and they're like, he has a stutter. You're not allowed to make fun of him. Well, apparently Gavin Newsom is the new Joe Biden, right? The soft bigotry of low expectations, pandering to black people. Black people don't like to be pandered to. I don't like to be pandered to. They don't either. It sucks. And quite frankly, it's insulting.
But was he really pandering? I watched it, they panned out and everybody was white.
So he's speaking to a black guy, though, right?
I believe he was speaking to a black guy,
He's
but
speaking
most
to
of
the
the
black.
audience was white.
He's speaking to Andre Dickens, the black mayor of Atlanta. Gavin Newsom was, and he tried to relate to the black people in the audience by saying he was just like they were because he cannot read a speech and scored a 960 on the SAT. Well, so are you saying that black people are dumb and they can't pass tests? Like, they can't read? Like, what were you trying to say? Speaking to Andre Dickens, the black mayor of Atlanta, during a book tour event on Sunday, I'm sure he sold a lot after that. Newsom said, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. And, I'm not trying to offend anybody, trying to act all there if you got 940, but literally a 960 guy. You've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in, looking for laughs. And so they're coming out, they're like, no, but Gavin Newsom he's suffered from dyslexia and all these other problems. And it's like, that's not what he was saying at all.
In fairness to Gavin Newsom, though, this is also the party that says black people can't get IDs and don't know where the DMV is.
If you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. I mean, like, what could
That's how I knew I wasn't black. I didn't vote for Joe Biden.
What could be wrong? Now, the implication, of course, whether intentional or not, was impossible to ignore. Newsom framed poor intellectual performance as a shared trait with a black mayor while in a city with a near 50% black population. His comments drew immediate backlash. Rapper Nicki Minaj posting his way of bonding with black people is to tell them how stupid he is and that he can't read. Senator Ted Cruz posted the soft bigotry of low expectations. And when Fox News' Sean Hannity criticized Newsom's comments, Newsom lashed out with profanity. And he tweeted back, "You don't give a about the president of the United States of America," posting an ape video of President Obama, or calling African nations shite holes, but you're going to call me racist for talking about my lifelong struggle with dyslexia. Spare me your fake effing outrage, Sean. It's so classy when the future president wannabe Gavin Newsom is dropping all sorts of swear words. Isn't it so hip? It's so like in and cool now, I guess.
Who read his audiobook? I guess he didn't.
Right? Notably, his excuse collapses under scrutiny because in 2022, Newsom posted a photo of himself reading some banned books, undermining his claims that his comments about not being able to read were literal and relevant to dyslexia. In another instance, Newsom apparently claimed he read a book of more than 300 pages in less than 2 hours. So, like, what is it? Like, if a Republican had said what Gavin Newsom had said, the verdict would already be in. Recall the very fine people on both sides hoax responding to the 2017 Charlottesville rally in which neo-Nazis and white supremacists clashed with protesters. President Trump said that people should realize that there were very fine people on both sides before immediately making it clear that he was not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists because they should be condemned totally. What did the left do? Well, they carved that out. They made that their new battle cry. And there's the cruelty. They're so cruel. Well, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution ignored Newsom's comments in a piece entitled, "In Georgia, Gavin Newsom urges Democrats to fight fire with fire." The Daily Beast chose to focus on Newsom hitting Trump with brutal new insults over the Kennedy Center, and others explained Newsom's comments away. It's almost like they don't exist. It's so remarkable when you think about what this president is up against, right? He's not even up against the losers in his own party, the rhinos who won't get stuff done, who are part of the deep state. He's got to deal with the constant barrage of garbage polls, the constant story and noise of negativity, the media selectively choosing not to cover things that quite frankly matter to the American people, so they can merely say how cruel your vote for Trump would be. It's almost like they think you're not onto it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, California's Democrat problem. See, this is going to have a big role. Gavin Newsom is not going to have a good effect on this California gubernatorial primary and such. Could end up with a Republican next. So the way they do their primaries, I think it would be very interesting they get the highest two ranked candidates, whether it's a Republican and a Democrat, two Democrats, two Republicans, you get the two highest in the primary. And as we heard from Harry Enton, the numbers are not looking good for Democrats on the presidential stage for 28. And it's not looking good for them in the 26 gubernatorial stage either in California. If they lose California to right?
Wow.
There's not enough cruelty to go around to explain that.
Well, we always say, our friend John sent me a meme. We always say the playbook never changes. This is just Joe Biden. When he said poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
There are so many examples here. Wait a minute. There was another one. Let me tell you quickly about Morgainz Fitness, Morgainz Fitness. You know how we feel about Kelly Morgan. She's got a merch sale going on right now. She's got great clothes and so many cute designs. If you're in the market for something that actually fits you and moves with you while you're working out, Morgainz Fitness, that's the place to go. And the 90 Ignite program. She might have some spaces coming up. This is great because it's all online. You can do the whole thing remotely no matter where you live. And it's basically just saying, I'm at that point now where I'm willing to give 90 days of my best. Of my all, no excuses. I'm going to show up. I'm going to eat the right foods. And I'm going to exercise the way Kelly is going to help you learn how. And at the end of 90 days, you're going to measure your body and you're going to be like, oh my, I am a figment of my former self. People losing 16, 18 inches. People losing 40 pounds of fat. Like, it's nutty. Morgainzfitness.com. Morgainz fitness.com. Oops. Hey, by the way, we still have some of these. My favorite thing in our merch store, wendybellradio.com. The Slate coasters, they're so great. I have these in my house. Then there's also this one. I like this one an awful lot. Isn't that awesome? Coasters. Love our coasters. And I think we still have some of these, don't we, Brock?
Yes.
So,
we have no more rocks glasses.
Let's see if I get out of it. There you go. Very nice. And how about the mugs? We're putting them up on Friday.
Yeah, the mugs will be back in the store on Friday.
So they're like...
That's my favorite.
That's this and
Yes.
his picture, right?
Correct.
From Gary Varvel.
I sent you a text. Did you get it?
Oh, my goodness. Is it going to hurt my feelings?
Yes.
I did not yet.
Okay.
No, that's my one last one.
We're out of the rocks glasses. But did I show you the ones I had Jolene make me?
Yes.
I thought they turned up. I had her put on the cartoons on the Gary cartoons on rocks glasses. I thought they turned out halfway decent.
This is what we loved about the rocks glasses. Yeah. So this is what they look like. And then when you're done...
Well, don't show it. They're not in the store.
Well, if people want them, we can... Right? Isn't that neat? And again, like hardcore. And since it's etched, you don't have to worry about washing it.
Alcohol kills it.
I love it.
You don't have to wash rocks glasses. The alcohol kills what's ever in there.
You know, they call it Cranial movement therapy and extraordinary outcomes come of this for concussion and traumatic brain injury care. This is something that Dr. Simkovich himself invented. It is a non-invasive and effective therapy for concussion and traumatic brain injuries. CMT, cranial movement therapy, addresses structural, psychological, and neurological disruptions caused by trauma to remediate the underlying dysfunction, going beyond symptom management. All right, that's jibberjaw. What it means is they're going to dig into you and they're going to figure out what happened to your brain and they're going to fix it in a short amount of time. And Dr. Simkovich is going to use his hands. He's going to move things around your face and pull on you and twist you. And he's going to push things in your soft palate. And you're going to go home after the course of several days and you will be better, because that's how it works. That's what is special about the Simkovich Concussion Institute. 412-366-3700. I mean, if you do one thing, jot that down. 412-366-3700. There aren't many of Dr. Simkovich's walking around. He heals people every day from the worst brain injuries there are. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Please get in touch with them. The remarkable change that we've seen in our friend and her essential tremor is, it works.
Life-changing.
So as Gavin Newsom is digging himself a hole and he's struggling to get traction in this whole presidential Democrat race for 2028, you've got the state of California, which has got a pretty interesting conundrum here. And there's actually a scenario in which two Republicans could advance in California's primary. And this is something that's for real. So this is at economiccollapse.report. That's literally what the site is called, economiccollapse.report, and the title, Inside the Scenario Where Two Republicans Advance in California's Primary. Now, I didn't know all of the background of how the elections go in California. I voted there once, and that was when I was 18, right? Ever since then, I've been gone, and it's not my state anymore. But this is very interesting, and the ripple effect could be serious. The political consultant who gerrymandered for Democrats warned on Sunday that California could end up with a Republican-only gubernatorial race in November. It would be a gut punch for the party that has kept a supermajority for over a decade. And how's that working for the Californian people? How you guys doing great with that? Everything's super duper awesome. Speaking to KCRA political director Ashley Zavella, elections expert Paul Mitchell said there is roughly a 12% chance that the GOP gubernatorial contenders, Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton, appear on the November ballot. In California, all candidates for governor appear on the same ballot, regardless of party affiliation. Mitchell noted that while the outcome is unlikely, it could trigger a domino effect for Democrats nationwide. It's almost like all the stories, picked for today are connected in some weird way, right? So weird how that works. It's not something that should be dismissed, this guy says. This, what's his name again? Paul Mitchell. He says, if there was a 12% chance of me getting into an accident driving over here, we'd be doing this by Zoom. There's no way I would get into the car, he said. We have to be concerned in our lives about things that are small probabilities. The Democrat Party should be concerned about this small probability that 2 Republicans make the runoff, because it could really politically decimate them for November. Even as much as impacting that Prop 50 result in the competitive congressional races that Republicans could win, impacting ballot measures, impacting other statewide races, Mitchell added. The reality is that if 2 Republicans were on the ballot in November, Democratic turnout would be so decimated that it would dramatically impact the politics statewide and potentially nationally. So he's like, I'm putting this out as a kind of sound the alarm for some people who are asking questions about what is the likely outcome. Well, while California hasn't elected a Republican governor since Schwarzenegger took office in 2003, recent polls show GOP candidates Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco neck and neck as the frontrunners of the pack. In February, EMC Research, poll sponsored by Democratic Representative and gubernatorial candidate Eric Swalwell's campaign, found that Bianco was drawing 21% of support among surveyed voters, with Swalwell at 18 and Hilton just behind by 1 point at 17. You guys, it's a total horse race right now. Second poll from RBI Strategies and Research showed Hilton at 16%, Bianco just 1 point behind. And then other, like Katie Porter, also did polls, and they show that she's not even in it, right? That not even in it. When asked about Mitchell's warning to Democrats, Chad Bianco, one of the Republicans, told the Daily Caller News Foundation that he wants the best chances of ending the radical left's reign of terror in order to save his home state. He stated that he was not only raised his children there, but he's lived with the bad policies that do not affect the wealthy career politicians of the multimillionaire strategists. We have a plan to win this election, Bianco said, whether it's 1 Republican or 2 Republicans. Anyone whose intention is to save California would try to get 2 Republicans through the primary, or at least see how long the polling holds. He says, for me, this isn't about book deals, becoming famous, or some agenda. It's about saving my home. And I want Republicans to have every chance of winning available. Yes. Now, this is kind of interesting. So you've got this situation in which after the primary, you could have those 2 Republicans. And then what happens, ripple effect to other Democrat states across the country? Well, there's something else going on, and this is a little bit of blowback against Gavin Newsom for some of the dumb things he has said, specifically to the Atlanta mayor talking about, I'm no better than you. I can't read. I did poorly on my SAT, kind of making it sound like you dumb people here did. Whether or not that was intent, that's how it came across. And so Mississippi's governor, Tate Reeves, has chirped back to Gavin Newsom as he's trying to defend himself from saying stupid stuff. Here's the story. California Governor Gavin Newsom did a stop in Atlanta for his book tour and said something characteristically hair gel that is getting him labeled a racist. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, right? He's now being accused of racism for his statements on his book tour. Over 20 million people have now viewed a clip of Gavin Newsom talking with the black mayor of Atlanta, Andre Dickens, in which he says, I'm just like you. And then goes on to say that he has a 960 SAT and can't read a speech. It's on brand for Newsom to think he's being relatable rather than being insulting and racist. It proves that being politically savvy doesn't necessarily translate to being the brightest bulb in the box. Since 2018, Newsom claimed his struggles with dyslexia. He's claimed that he's been struggling with it. He even dictated a 2021 children's book to a ghostwriter who whipped it up for him and slapped his name on it. So dependent upon the audience, Newsom has used dyslexia as an excuse, a point of relatability, like Joe Biden did with his alleged stutter. Well, local and national journalists are asking some legitimate questions now. The guy wants to be president, right? He's the one who keeps bringing up his dyslexia, etc. And his dipsy doodle and foul-mouthed comms team is kind of feeling the pressure as Real Clear Politics national correspondent Susan Crabtree noted. And so Susan Crabtree from Real Clear Politics said this. What about the Gavin Newsom dyslexia diagnosis? Can the government provide any paperwork related to his dyslexia at any time of his life? Gavin Newsom's communications team wrote her back, a member of the media, and told her to F off. Not F off, but said it and wrote it on X, right? It's ridiculous. So Sean Hannity jumps in and he reposts on X the now embarrassing video and commented, Gavin Newsom thinks a 960 SAT makes him like Black Americans. Let that sink in. Hannity obviously knows what buttons to push to deepen Newsom's embarrassment. In fact, it was Hannity who moderated that 2023 debate between Newsom and Ron DeSantis, where Hannity let DeSantis go for it, and DeSantis proceeded to mop the floor with Newsom, which was great. And so basically, Newsom says to Sean Hannity in a tweet, you didn't give a S about the president of the United States of America posting an ape video of President Obama or calling African nations shiteholes, but you're going to call me racist for talking about my lifelong struggle with dyslexia? Spare me your fake effing outrage. Sends that to Sean Hannity, right? So this is where things get fun, because in Mississippi, Tate Reeves wrote this. The governor of Mississippi writes this to Gavin Newsom. This seems like a good time to remind you that a Black student in Mississippi is 2.5 times more likely to read proficiently by the 4th grade than if he or she lived in California. We'd be happy to send you one of our reading coaches to assist you, Gavin Newsom. And he writes this. This is the greatest dig. We'd be happy to send you one of our people. He says, after all, leering is a lifelong journey. You might achieve some of the gains that our Black 4th graders have. And he said, incidentally, one nice feature of increased literacy is that you don't have to fall back on vulgarity to seem passionate. Let me know. This dude is being absolutely roasted. And you scroll through the social media comments, and there's a picture of Gavin Newsom that says, I can't read REED. I'm just like you. Gavin Newsom, I attended the Leering Academy. I mean, it's like, look, you love him or hate him. What America is going to tune in tonight to see the State of the Union, they're going to see their president. They're going to see the CEO of the greatest, most unbelievable brand the world has ever known, the USA. And regardless of your views of the president or how he's doing his job, don't you want to know about the health of this country? And I want to hear it from a guy who's authentic. I want to hear it from a man who gave a woman serving a life sentence for a petty crime, petty drug crime. He gave her clemency and then gave her a role in his administration to handle the clemency claims coming from prisoners. He took that woman and bounced her, a Black woman, bounced her from essentially a life sentence and made him his clemency and like pardon czar. Does someone who's not authentic, does somebody who's a racist do that? Does someone who's not authentic invite angel families who've suffered losses, the death of people in their families at the hands of illegal aliens? Does a president who doesn't care spend hours of his day with men and women and children of American citizens who've been murdered? No. This president does. There's no comparison, no matter what the polls say. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, You know, when you lose CNN, and I think Democrats might have lost a little bit of a chunk of CNN. Fareed Zakaria, by no means MAGA, absolutely blows up Democrats and says blue cities are hellscapes. Where have I heard that before? Next. I can't read. REED. I'm just like you, Gavin Newsom. I attended the Laring Academy. I mean, and it's funny, Carl Higbie, Jesse Waters, any of these fellows you watch at night on television on the right, they're not screaming, right? They're not losing their minds like the one guy, the one lefty, who clearly has a man bun and a kayak in his garage. Just going to say.
It just shows you who the creative people are. It really does.
Like the Dilly Dream Team of meme makers.
Yeah.
Like creative, funny,
Nobody
smart.
on the left, other than comedians, because we know that most comedians, a lot of comedians are lefties, but other than like the average person on the left has no sense of humor.
100%. That's why they're losing their ever-loving minds about everything.
Yeah, right.
And that's what Jesse, was it Jesse who said that? They basically sucked the joy out of perhaps the highlight. I don't know if you guys have a personal highlight. Do you have a highlight of your life? You know, for a lot of people, oh, would it be the birth of my first one? No, I'm not talking about that. Like a moment in your world somewhere where you've been, where you're like, you realize this is one of the greatest moments that you may ever experience in your life, whether it's a sporting event or it's something cataclysmic that happens. I had it with the Q Creek miners when I was there on the scene and we found out that they were all alive. Like that, you don't beat that. There's no topping that. After, 88 hours, and you're like, they're coming up out of the ground. Oh my gosh.
I've got something to look forward to then.
You haven't had
the
one.
highlight of my life. Yeah.
Meeting me. Wow. That's so rude. I thought you said you weren't going to hurt my feelings today.
When did I say that? I said that text wouldn't hurt your feelings.
I just did what the pollsters did.
Yeah, you changed.
My margin of error on that comment is 5%, plus or minus.
No, it's 100%.
I think it's
what
funny.
What would the highlight of my life be?
Think about it. Cruelty, bitching and moaning, griping about Kash Patel in the locker room, like hating everything about Trump. He's cruel. We're such, it's all connected. It's like enough.
Maybe making it to 50. I've done a lot of dumb stuff in my life.
If that's something that you're going to settle on as your milestone, or you're like, I'm sorry, we'll
making it through.
We'll get you some more experience.
Just making it through every day.
I'm sorry. Which ditches are you digging again? Is that how
I'm apparently digging a hole right now?
Is that how you hurt your back, Gavin? I mean, Brock. Look at your fake outrage.
I'm just trying to think. I can't think of.
Things seem to be going swimmingly in Chicago. I'll read you a little story
not
there.
for the Bears.
Well, I mean, yeah, maybe so. Maybe they're like, yes. How big of a slap would that be to have them move to Indiana? To Chicago? It'd be giant, right?
I think so.
Like, are they still the Chicago Bears if they play in Indiana?
They might want to get away from the Chicago. Well,
New York does that, right? They play in New Jersey, right? may leave Chicago, you guys, and the city has no one to blame but itself and the state's governor. Who's that again? Oh, J.B. Pritzker. What?
Not to be outdone by Brandon Johnson.
Well, he is super duper. Every lover of the Chicago football team knows the song Bear Down Chicago Bears. Well, apparently you might be doing it not at Soldier Field, the oldest stadium in the league and the home of the Monsters of the Midway since 1971. The state of Indiana has advanced a $2 billion bond offer for a new stadium in Hammond and a sports authority that would oversee the building of the state-of-the-art stadium. In the past few years, there were noises that the team might move to Arlington Park outside of the city. The Bears had bought some acreage, blah, 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 but nothing ended up happening. And now it's looked like, hey, they said Indiana's open for business. Come on over, Chicago Bears. Come play here. We'll build you a really nice place. Bears might be fighting with other fleeing Chicagoans for the few remaining U-Hauls left in the city. So for how long have Democrats run various places in the U.S. uninterrupted by Republican leadership? Literally, that's what they're making this analogy to. A lot of them. New York City, Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, since 1952, no Republican leadership. You get what you get. All right, so let's listen to Fareed Zakaria. He's one of these hacks over on CNN, but he's calling out the blue states. And he's like, look, these places have become unlivable hellscapes that don't deliver but do overcharge. I don't know what happened to this guy, but he's right.
New York is really a prime example of a problem Democrats seem unwilling to confront. Blue cities are out of control, promising more, spending more, delivering less, and pushing off the fiscal problems to some future day. Take Los Angeles, another one-party metropolis wrestling with affordability and disorder. The city's homelessness budget for fiscal year 2025-26 totals about $950 million. The LA Homelessness Services Authority reported that in 2023, homelessness was up 9% countywide and 10% in the city. And a 2024 AP account noted that homelessness has surged 70% countywide since 2015 and 80% in the city. All this amid public frustration despite billions spent. An audit reviewed $2.4 billion in city homelessness funding and found that officials could not reliably track where it went or what it achieved.
This is where we get into the Windy City, which, by the way, has not had a Republican leader since 1931. I mean, do you need to go a full century before you get with the program? Here's Fareed Zakaria.
Or take Chicago, with a mayor whose approval rating is deep underwater, where the pension promises are so large that they will surely bankrupt the city at some point. What is the theory of good government here? If the answer is keep adding programs, the city will keep producing unaffordability, because unaffordability is what happens when government becomes a machine that grows faster than the society it governs. Zoran Mamdani's basic instinct is correct. Focus on affordability, especially housing, but not by providing government subsidies. These only seem to have driven up the cost of rent, as subsidies naturally do. The city's rental assistance spending rose from $263 million in fiscal year 2020 to $1.34 billion in the most recently reported fiscal year. That is a 5 times increase in a handful of years, and housing costs only got worse.
And you wonder where the affordability thing comes to play. And so back to the Chicago Bears. The potential exit from Soldier Field is sad but predictable. Like abusive husbands, the mayor and the governor just assumed that the team would always be around and wouldn't ever have the gumption to get up and move out. I mean, but the Bears are ultimately a business. And this year, their product looked pretty good. They want better facilities. They want the ability to maximize revenue for their talented quarterback and teammates, right? The Bears will leave Soldier Field, and they will leave a lot of history behind. But this is what is happening. It is not survivable. It is not doable anymore. You can no longer dip your bucket into the well of the wealthy and the business class and say, pay more in taxes so we can continue our lavish spending. Not with people dying in the street, frozen to death like popsicles in New York, or not being stabbed or carjacked or what have you in Chicago. Not safe, not affordable, not good for the brand America. Of course, Democrats are going to want to boycott tonight's State of the Union. They've got no other moves. Thanks for being part of the show today. WendyBellRadio.com. Get our podcast. Help us get to 8 million podcast downloads. Come on back tomorrow. Love you guys. Have a great day. Peace.